John Hanson Stadium at Carlton Field at Osseo High School for the kickoff of the 2015 prep football season. Doesn't get any better than this for an opener. The Maple Grove Crimson and the Osseo Orioles. Football day in Osseo. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox, along with Bill Hunstock. And Bill, there's really no easing into the season this year.
No, not at all.
You play not only your arch rival, but a very good team for both of them to start it out.
Yeah, both these teams are ranked in the top 5 in the metro area, so it's right out of the gate. You got to bring your best shot, because you know you're going to get a best shot from the guy you're across the field from you.
I think it's safe to say Maple Grove has established itself as one of the powers last year, getting to the state semifinals where they gave Eden Prairie everything they could handle. This looks like a team capable of being at that kind of level again, but they have to get out and do it on the field too.
And you got to do it right out of the gate, and you got to be ready to go right now. And that's a real challenge. It hasn't been a scrimmage, so both coaches are knowing, well, we know who can play, but we don't know exactly where we are. So that's going to be, the first quarter is going to be kind of feeling things out a little bit.
Osseo scored a win over Maple Grove during the regular season by 1 point last year. They have done very well against Maple Grove. That's been one thorn in the side of the Crimsons these last few years. The Orioles have also done very well over the past decade or so since Darren Lampker's come over. They look like they have more experience probably than the past couple of years coming back too. They feel very good about what they have this year also.
They really look like they're a little bit more together maybe, but in terms of athletic ability and depth across the board, these teams are about as even as you can get. And I think it's going to come down to, how well people play and, how that oblong, pointy-ended ball bounces at some point. And in this win, it's going to bounce weird.
Let's talk about key players to look for in today's game. There are obviously a lot of very good ones on both teams, but starting with Maple Grove, a guy who will see a lot of action both ways, Isaac Collins.
Yep.
Got to be on the short list of best players in Minnesota.
Yes, he's got to be one of the top 3 or 4 players in the entire state. He's very versatile. He's a high-quality running back, a very solid D-back. He plays on special teams. He doesn't line the field, so that's about all he doesn't do. But he really has a lot of skills. His ability to see and react are very good. So he's going to be a real challenge for both the Osseo offense and the Osseo defense.
And for the Orioles, they had a guy who really carried the load at running back last year. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he has a great combination of shiftiness and breakaway speed.
Yeah, and that combination is very tough. Plus, Chris Carew is very good both inside and outside. So he can hit hard in the middle. He's not big, but he's quick. He hit hard in the middle, but he's got speed when he gets out on the edge that he can beat people with his pure speed. So anytime he breaks a tackle, he can be gone for another 8, 10, 12 yards or break a big one.
An awful lot of talk about the storms expected for later today. Now we're hoping that part, the weather in terms of real severe stuff or heavy rain, holds off. But you touched on it, Bill. I don't think there's much doubt the wind is going to be a factor. We have experienced quarterbacks for both teams, but the kicking game and the throwing game, I don't think there's any doubt about it, will be affected.
Yeah, as long as the wind is gusting like it has been during warm-ups here, that's going to be a real factor. We're watching the punters. The punters are aiming at one sideline, and the ball's going out of bounds on the other. So there's a real strong wind. It's going to knock the ball down. It's going to drive it different directions than anybody's used to seeing. So that's going to make it a real challenge. It could change field position drastically today.
To a certain extent, both teams kind of downplay the rivalry part of it, but let's be honest, they really want to beat each other too.
Oh, absolutely, especially the relationship between the two communities being in the same district. The coaching staffs, the coaches, they all know each other. They've coached with and against each other for years, so it's a rivalry right from the beginning all the way to the end. And the coaching staffs and the head coaches particularly, they want to downplay that. They don't want to get overhyped in it. But I guarantee you, the kids in orange and black and the kids in white and maroon, they're going to be playing this for everything they got.
All right, should be a great one to kick off our coverage for 2015. The Crimson and the Orioles coming up next here on 12 Sports.
30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Hi, I work at the NEDA helpline. We have something called Click to Chat, which is a live chat with someone on the helpline, and they're really able to get support.
Call or visit the NITA website today for help and hope.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
And welcome back here to Osseo as the breezy afternoon here, certainly to say the least, as these teams getting set to kick things off here and get this season started in style. Obviously, the goal to be 1-0 in this first week, no matter who you're playing. It kind of doubles up when you're playing an arch rival. And joining us on the sidelines this afternoon, once again this year, will be Allie Arlt. Let's go down to Allie.
Hey guys, you know, both of these teams have been practicing really hard the last couple weeks to get ready for this season kickoff game. Now this preseason has been a little different than seasons past. The Minnesota State High School League has shortened the preseason schedule for football by 33% this year, going from 3 weeks of practice down to 2. Now only 11 practices have been held by both teams and just 4 of them at full contact. I asked both coaches if either of their teams felt underprepared coming into today's game. They both said no, but not having a scrimmage is a disadvantage. Coach Lombardi also says that there will be mistakes in today's game. That will be typical of any season kickoff game, but the win might be a factor too. It should be a good rivalry, guys. Catch ya.
Thanks very much, Allie. And that was the one thing that I think a lot of maybe got overlooked by people just from the outside, general fans, is that you lost that day of scrimmages.
Right.
For the coaches, that was pretty big. It isn't so much just the 2 weeks of practice, but the loss of those, you know, you'd go to a school and scrimmage 3 or 4 other teams and then iron out some of your mistakes after that. There you see the Crimson leading the all-time series 16-8, although Osseo has had the best of things in recent seasons, certainly, and trying to continue that. And Osseo, again, won by 1 point last year over at Maple Grove.
And you know, just to kind of revisit that idea of the scrimmage, Jay, from a coaching point of view, that scrimmage gives you a chance to play against another team, for the first time. You're not beating up your own guys against each other, and you get a chance to really see some quality film. You film practice, but you don't see the same thing in practice that you do under a game situation, even with a scrimmage.
Dean Lum will kick it off here, and back deep for Maple Grove, Will Ampey, number 2, and on number 3, Isaac Collins. We'll see how deep they can get it in this wind. It is going to be Ampey taking it on the 3-yard line. Ampey cutting it to the middle and tripped up as he crosses the 15. Did not quite make it out to the 20. Stop made on the special teams play by Dimitri Devante Stewart for Osseo. So the starting lineup for Matt Lombardi and crew, the offensive lineup, good, pretty experienced line. 3 guys back who've played a lot, particularly Awashika and Max Walk. Collins will get a lot of duty in the offensive backfield, also playing on D. They've got a good tight end in Will Rule, and a good veteran crew overall, and a returning starter at quarterback as well in Brad Davison. So first down and 10 from the 17-yard line for Maple Grove. Ball right in the middle of the field here. Davison will hand it off on first down, and a quick stop made there as Collins got the first carry, and not a whole lot doing. He will pick up maybe 3, it looks like they'll give him. There's what Davison did a year ago as a sophomore starter, so he really got his feet wet. I really look for him to have probably a much bigger year than he had last year. He was in there last year as a sophomore. They had a lot of good running game. I think he'll be asked to do more, and I think he's very capable of it. And second down handoff goes to Collins as he spills out over the 25 to about the 26, leaving with 3rd and short. Defensive starters for Darren Lampker and Osseo. Their D coordinator is Mike Johnson. George Foley, Jenkins, Baker, and Brown Sloan up front. Magner, Kramer, and Russell the backers. Williams, Port, Sumi, and Armstrong in the secondary. And here's the third down handoff. And it looks as though they might have enough for this first down, but not by a lot. Pretty well defended by Osseo as Maple Grove came quick. And it will be indeed enough for the first down.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty steady diet of what we've seen the first 3 plays here in the first series. I think Matt Lombardi wants to get his guys settled in and get a feel for the game.
There's Collins again, spun out of a tackle and out to the 35-yard line. So a nice gainer there. The Crimson going with a steady diet of Isaac Collins so far. Give him 6 on that carry. And now Collins will rotate out. I'm sure that's something that they're going to have a plan in place to try and keep from overusing him, considering that he's playing so much on D too. Ryan Hanscom now in as the tailback for Maple Grove, and he will get it off the right side, and Hanscom plows forward for a first down out over the 40-yard line, wrapped up strong there by, I believe it was Russell, but another nice sequence here for Maple Grove.
Yeah, pretty good surge by the offensive line. The right side did a good job of stepping down and walling off. Good kick out by the left guard, and Hanscom just filled into the slot where the big guys left, and he got a nice gainer there.
6'1", 180-pounder. Hanscom, this time no fullback next to Davison. Davison looking to throw, chased out to the right. Davison steps out of a tackle, throws on the run, and all alone. The completion is good, and there'll be a flag. He may have been over the line of scrimmage. This one's going to come back, as he found a receiver deep downfield, Teddy Rash, but it is indeed an illegal forward pass. He was just over the line of scrimmage when he throws this one. Ooh, boy, it was very close.
Yeah.
Maple Grove bench giving him an earful, because they'll generally give you the benefit of the doubt if you're within, a half yard or so.
And especially if your feet are off the ground. A lot of times they'll say, yeah, that's really pushing it, but
I was wondering at the time, but the flag came out after, fairly late, as he was making sure that they were looking at the right situation here.
And they measured off a 3-yard penalty. I'm not exactly sure how that works. That should go back to the previous spot, but it is a loss of down.
So Maple Grove has a big play wiped out by penalty. They'll go back to the ground. And well defended this time by the Orioles. Not a whole lot there on that carry for Collins, who is back in there at the tailback slot. About a yard or so.
Yeah, there's Coach Lombardi. Does a lot with the defense.
Yeah, his whole background was in defense, but a couple of years ago really took over the offense. And his quote today was, I said, how much are you involved? Well, I'm kind of still involved in both, maybe a little more than I should be, but I just can't ignore the defense too. So 3rd and 11 now for the Crimson. Davison has good time now, looking downfield, and incomplete. Just a touch short on the throw. Pretty well defended getting over there at the end. It was Quincy Williams as he...
And he may have gotten just enough of that. I don't know if that ball hit the floor or not.
I don't think so, but it was a little shorter than they want.
Yeah,
he did get his hand in there before he came over the top.
And the receiver had his hands down on the ground. So if that ball doesn't get tipped, it has a pretty good chance of being caught.
So here's where we could see some adventure in the wind with this punt, trying to aim it over toward their right sideline as they go in this direction. The kick there by Rash.
And not a bad start by the Maple Grove offense. Unfortunately, the penalty pulled back a big play that would have gotten them down well inside the Osseo zone, but pretty consistent with their running game. And I'm sure that's what Coach Lombardi and his offensive staff want to do.
There's the Osseo offensive line, a little more size than what some of their recent teams have had. Beckstrand, Monaco, Schmeling, Elard, and Jensen up front. Jensen getting some Division I looks as a junior. Krua and Kelly, a couple really good backs, and they like Marmar Hughes. He broke his finger early, but he has a threat. He is a threat out there receiving-wise. And a nice first down run for the Orioles as Krua takes that handoff and will pop it for about 8 on first down. Malik Gaylord had a pretty solid season for the Orioles last year, and it was interesting, Garen Lampker, we were talking about wind today, and he said Gaylord has the strongest arm of any quarterback they've had since he's been here. Second down and a couple now for the Orioles. Their first possession of the game. Go to Kelly this time on the sweep left, and he will have enough for the first down. Doyle up to trip him up, but he will pick up that first down of the game for Osseo. Gain of 4.
Both teams doing a good job of trying to get their running game established and getting first downs with the run. That always settles your guys in. Your offensive linemen, they really want to get settled in and figure out how to get off the ball and get hooked up with somebody early on. Once you get it settled in a little bit, then it's okay to start throwing it.
And if you're going to the right side, Krua gets around the edge and into the secondary. Collins will cut him off and knock him out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. But a 22-yard pickup for Prince Krua. Boy, he broke contain around the edge. Pretty good block on the outside by the tight end there, Russell. He got enough of the linebacker, and Krua, they had the angle. It wasn't really, it was apparent he wasn't probably going to go all the way, but he got to that corner.
And we just saw an example of what we talked about in the pregame, that he makes somebody miss, and then he gets a step, and he's gone. He got all the way up 20-some yards before anybody could get an angle on him.
Into Crimson territory at the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Gaylord and the Osseo offense. Little quick throw out in the flat. DeMario Armstrong, and pretty well defended by the Crimson. We'll see where he stepped out. Not much of a gain, maybe only a yard or so. There's Maple Grove's defensive unit. Just 3 returning starters, and one of them, Grant Hemsey, not in the lineup today. So Collins and Burrington, the others who have a lot of experience, but they still are pretty pumped about this group. A very fast unit, as is typical. They're very much, very much, more than just about anybody, favor speed over size up front. And you look at, I know in past, even going back to his days at Wayzata, Matt Lombardi would tell us kind of matter-of-factly, well, we took our backup tight end and made him our starting nose guard, and they've always seemed to make it work. Here's Kelly taking the handoff, fighting forward, and not a whole lot there, a couple of yards on that gainer.
Yeah, Matt has always favored speed over size and agility, and he always has guys that are quick off the ball, and they're very well schooled to take their angles and keep their discipline on their angles as they go. So that makes their defense particularly tough to beat.
So here comes a big third down, 3rd and 7 from the 33 of Maple Grove. Certainly in 4-down territory, especially with this wind. And it's going to be Gaylord on the keep, and he will be down to the 25. Looks like he'll have that first down for the Orioles. Probably not, he's definitely a good runner, but probably not exactly what Maple Grove was expecting there, but it works out well. And Gaylord just follows that line, gets enough for the first down.
Yeah, he does a nice job of following his up back, Prince Crua, and keeps his legs churning. Looked like he was going to be a little bit short, and
certainly on really 4th down, they would have been going for it anyway in that spot, but you like to get it when you can on that 3rd down play. So 1st and 10 from the 25 of Maple Grove. Gaylord firing out into the flat. Marmar Hughes trying to shake a tackle, but a lot of white jerseys getting there. And forward progress will have him back to about the line of scrimmage, I believe, is probably about it. Those are the type of the passes that you're going to have to probably resort to on this windy day. Good pursuit out there. Maybe didn't get him down to the ground, but still Zion Allen got out there right away and then got plenty of help coming in behind.
They've got to really be careful on that, because so far the first 2 passes for Osseo have just been quick stand-up, throw out into the flat, and the next step on that progression is going to be to fake that, take 2 more steps, and see if you can get the guys coming up too hard.
2nd down and 10. Hughes coming in motion, but flags will fly on this one, and this may be one of those, not that you wouldn't see it later in the year perhaps, but might be kind of one of those first game timing kind of things a little bit.
Yeah. Look at a couple people in the backfield moving at the same time, or a person on the line moving.
Well, one thing when I spoke with Malik Gaylord about this season for Osseo, he mentioned the versatility, and there he saw an example. You know, he said you're not necessarily going to find Hughes in the same spot on every play, or a guy like Kelly or Cordell Russell. They can do a few different things, so you have to be aware of them. And they've got, you know, a lot of the attention just because he did what he did last year goes to Crua, but they've got some other game breakers. DeMario Armstrong's a very good, talented receiver and defensive player for them, and obviously Kelly was injured, but it comes in and looks like they're going to make some kind of adjustment on the clock, perhaps. Maybe not. I'm not sure what that discussion was there, but
not sure what the hand signals meant.
Yeah, they're asking them to start the clock, and they're not. I think that was what he was saying, is let them know they need to be watching me. That's who tells you when the clock starts, nobody else. So 2nd and 15 after that penalty. Here's a reverse, and they come to Armstrong. Gaylord trying to throw a block for him, and it's a hold, though. Flags, 3 flags. Malik Gaylord did his best to hook Lucas Burrington, and he did it too well. 3 different officials threw a flag right at that spot, so take away that potential gainer there.
And that was a pretty nice effort by Gaylord to make a block, but quarterbacks usually aren't asked to block too much.
And that was really the last guy that was going to be able to make a stop on him right there, but he got just enough. Well, I shouldn't say last. Collins obviously came over and made a heck of a physical tackle, but in terms of, you know, stopping it right away there.
Yeah, that's a big penalty, though, because that goes from the spot and it takes it back. Now it's going to put them all the way back to the 40-yard line, so they've got 24 yards. 2nd and 24, not an enviable down and distance. I don't know if anybody's got a good 2nd and 24 play.
Particularly on a day like today where, you know, a 15-yard pass is going to be a little dicey even, I would think. I mean, you have to get a catch and run situation. Kelly taking the handoff on the sweep, well defended. Boy, Doyle got up there to force things back inside, and then cleaned up on the play there by Matt Slough for Maple Grove. That one had no chance. Excellent job defensively, a loss of 3 more. And Maple Grove is, when it looked like they were bending a little bit, Osseo had the ball in a very nice position after that first down. Boy, now this drive is becoming a much more difficult proposition. 3rd and a mile here. They've got to get to about the 15, and they are on the 43. So 3rd and 28 for the Orioles. Even if you're looking at it as let's get half here on the next play, that's still a very long.
16 yards at a crack, and that's just really hard to do.
Play action for Gaylord, plenty of time. He's going to throw it up deep for Armstrong with Burrington, and Burrington does a nice job defending it. Really two of the better returning players in the conference. There was a little bit of hand fighting, but I think, in my opinion, a good no call here.
Yeah, absolutely. Both guys wanted to get to the football. Both guys hand fighting. You know, that ball was just a little bit overthrown. If the receiver just keeps running, doesn't worry about where the D-back is, he might have a chance of making that play. That was a nice ball in the wind. With this wind, it could have gone easily out of bounds.
Gaylord is also the punter for Osseo, and it looks as though that's the direction they're going to go here. 4th and 28, try and pin them deep. Gaylord will get it away. It's a high kick, that wind pushing it to the sideline quickly, and so they will mark it at, let's see, comes back up the sideline to about the 23-yard line, so about a 20-yard punt.
And a net not too good. And Gaylord got just enough pressure from his right side that he got a bad contact with his foot, and the ball had a backspin on it, which for a punter is never a good thing.
So Maple Grove had a little bit of a drive and then had to give the ball up. Osseo marched it into Crimson territory, but then some penalties hurt them, and also tough D and pushed them back, and they had to punt. So we stay at 0-0 here for 4:01 to go in the first quarter of this season opener here on 12 Sports. Thanks for joining us this warm and windy Saturday afternoon. I'm hoping not to add the term rainy to that until after game time. Davison faking and rolling to his right under pressure, and Davison is wrapped up and down he goes. Sack recorded for Osseo there by George Foley, the senior defensive end.
Boy, Foley does a nice job of staying home. He gets upfield and doesn't let himself get outflanked by Davison. So that's a nice play. Big setback, almost a 10-yard loss, an 8-yard loss.
So they push them back just inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. So now Maple Grove faced with the same kind of thing, although it's still an early down at second, as Osseo had to deal with last time, where you got a lot of chunks to make up, and now we have a flag down. This may be a delay of game, I think. It looks like it will be against Maple Grove. Yes, indeed. So their second penalty of this first quarter.
Yeah, flag comes from the back judge. The back judge has the field clock, so.
So all the way back to the 9. Some good offense for both teams, but then some penalties and defensive plays that have forced them back. Here's Collins, and his lineman was knocked back into him and knocked down as Joe Sumi came rushing up, and it looked like almost like he caught the guard in between steps as he was pulling, and he got an easy push into him and knocked Collins down.
Yeah, he just caught the guard between strides, and poor Logan Newell just didn't have anywhere to go but backwards. And unfortunately, the timing was he backed right into Isaac Collins as he was making a cut and went right down. So that makes it 3rd and, as you said a moment ago, a mile.
They will go with the handoff to Isaac Collins. Collins looking to pick his way forward. He's out over the 10, which in some situations wouldn't be too bad of a play, but obviously when you're Osseo, you don't mind that right now. And then when it's 3rd and very long, you give up 4 yards or so to Isaac Collins. And it will force another punting situation for the Crimson here, as their punter, Teddy Rash, will kick it away.
Well, the fact that they stopped Collins for not a big gain, 3-4 yards is okay, but that ball's just outside the 10-yard line. That means the punter is going to be receiving the snap right about the goal line, maybe a yard or two deep in the end zone. Most of the time, high school punters are about 12 yards from the center, but in this wind, sometimes coaches, if it's real windy, the coaches will move punter a little closer so the crosswind like this isn't going to affect the snap too much.
Yeah, the wind seems to be blowing from across the field toward the near side, toward our cameras, toward how you're looking at it on TV, and not so much, you know, down the field one way or the other. So
it's pretty much a crosswind.
Rash, the punter, waiting in his end zone. A flag down. It's a high snap and almost blocked. Fair catch called for and made by Armstrong just inside the 40. You'll see what this flag is all about.
The encroachment from the... No, I think it's an off. Yeah, somebody moved.
And I think Osseo will make them kick that again because he got away a pretty decent punt.
And that was a high snap. That was a nice catch by the punter and a nice step to catch the ball when he had to leave his feet, get his feet back on the ground, step and punt the ball. But now he's going to be almost on the end line, which now a mistake in the end zone is going to cost you 2 or 6.
Rash goes 6'4" and had to, even at that height, had to get up to catch that last snap. And the rush coming, but he gets it away. And it's a better kick, and Armstrong unable to field it. Boy, this one really backfires on Osseo as he gets away a good kick. Instead of having it at Maple Grove's 40, Osseo will have it at their own 41. Armstrong just didn't feel confident in grabbing that ball in the wind. Let's go down to Allie.
What a way to kick off the season with a rivalry like this one that Coach Lombardi actually calls the Fire Pit War. Why? Because Coach Lamker actually lives in Maple Grove. Now, you guys said it the last time these two teams met, 27-26, Osseo won. This entire week while they practiced for this game, they had that score up on their scoreboard to use as motivation that they know that they can beat a tough Maple Grove team.
Thanks, Allie. And football resting on the 42-yard line is where they will spot it. 2:03 to go in this first quarter. Gaylord, play action, looking to throw. Doyle gets a piece of it, and then a diving attempt. Ball might have been caught, but he was out of bounds by Armstrong. Pretty athletic play by both the linebacker and then the receiver.
Yeah, and Lucas Burrington slipped and fell, and Armstrong was all by himself. So that's a great play by the linebacker. Peter Doyle will make that play. Otherwise, that's a completion.
Good crowd on hand. Obviously, we're quite a ways before school time starting, so everybody was a little bit unsure. You know, it's a Saturday afternoon, too. But obviously, the word got out that these two were playing each other, Bill.
Somebody knows, and there's still people coming in on the far side of the field.
2nd and 10. They hand off to Prince Crua. Chased back. Keeps his legs driving, but he is just wrapped up by too many defenders. They did a good job of containing as he tried to bounce it out. It'll be a loss of a yard. Darren Lamker, before the game, he talked about, you know, he said, yeah, we've got a good running game, but he said Maple Grove, they're well coached and they have good players. We're not just going to be able to hand it off all game and do the same thing and expect to run the ball through them. We know that at times they're going to bottle up Crua and we'll have to do some other things.
Exactly, and one of the things that is part of Darren's makeup as an offensive coach is that he's going to throw in some things during the course of the game that the defense may not be very well prepared for.
3rd and 11. Looking to go middle screen to Armstrong. Broke the first tackle, now loses the ball. And it would appear that the Orioles get it back. Armstrong did, but not going to be nearly enough for first down, obviously, as they get a very minimal pickup on that play.
Now the middle screen to Armstrong, fairly well executed, but a very well played. I believe it was Peter Doyle, not Peter Doyle.
Looks like Zibley, I think.
Zibley or Slough made a nice play on that.
So Gaylord in punt formation here. Collins and Ampey waiting back deep here for Maple Grove and gets the kick away, and it's a pretty decent one. Collins makes the fair catch signal and squeezes it at about the 18-yard line. So not much of a drive for Osseo, certainly, but they get a decent punt and will pin Maple Grove back deep. But we're heading down toward the end of this first quarter here, and Maple Grove will get the football back and no score on the board. The biggest potential play of the game was that pass from Maple Grove that was called back, and I'm not going to question the call, but it is no doubt it was very close in terms of whether Davison was over the line of scrimmage or not. He was not far over if he was.
Yeah. If you're a Maple Grove guy, that ball was a good one. If you're an Osseo guy, it was obviously over the line.
Exactly. On the 17 now, see what the Crimson have in store here. Hanscom in there at the tailback slot. Pretty good blocking up front, and he picks a hole out to nearly the 25. Give him about 6 or 7 on that carry.
Very nice get off on the left side of the offensive line by Logan Newell and Kaori Owashika.
And
getting off and making a nice hookup on their blocks there.
That is going to do it for our first quarter. Interesting first quarter, but no points on the board as of yet. Maple Grove and Osseo at 0-0 here on 12 Sports.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And we begin quarter number 2 here from John Hanson Stadium at Carlton Field. Jay Wilcox, Bill Hunstock, and Allie Arlt with you to open the season. Collins in the Wildcat formation. It slips through his fingers, though, and then he is immediately wrapped up and dropped. We saw a little bit of this a season ago from the Crimson, and getting there to finish him off was Andreas Brown slowing for, you see, Collins looking. Snap was a little bit high as a motion man was coming across, and that one had no chance. Collins, once he scooped it up, all he could do was absorb the hit.
Yep. That's a challenging thing. The center has got to keep his hips and butt down a little bit. Otherwise, that ball sails on him, just like it did right there.
Davison looking for Will Rule, but a little bit behind him and a little bit high, and it's short hop by a defensive player. So incomplete, and it will bring up 4th down here for Maple Grove. So their drive's sputtering a little bit. Bill, obviously you've coached football for a lot of years. Is it normal for the defense to maybe be a little ahead of the offense in this first week like this?
Yeah, at this time of the year, yeah, you expect that. And what you're trying to do offensively is get a rhythm. And it looked like both teams were starting to get that in their first possessions, but in their second possessions, neither one of them. And ooh, here's that punt we were talking about.
Kicks it and it sails out of bounds. This is not going to be a very long kick for Rash.
No, that one was barely 10 yards.
Out at the 27, so yeah, about a 10-yarder roughly there, maybe a little bit more, 12-yarder. And so Osseo will get the ball back, and there's where we were talking about the directional punting is you know, a huge key today, and it almost looked like he was aiming for that sideline. But
unintended directional punting.
Well, and when you're a right-footed kicker, obviously it's much easier to punt it toward your strong leg too.
There you go.
And both punters are right-footed. So, well, Osseo trying to take advantage of it here as they will get the ball on the Crimson 28-yard line here, early second quarter. Handoff to Prince Krua. Krua through a gap, and he might go. Collins, though, able to drag him out inside the 5. Actually, may have stepped out a little bit further back, it looks like, around the 6-yard line, but Krua popping that one through and nearly went to the end zone. Collins showing that burst to get over and wrap him up. Yeah, he did have one, looked like the last step before Collins grabbed him was on the sideline, so.
Really nice effort up front. The ball's at the 6-yard line.
First down goal to go here for the Orioles as they try and break the deadlock. Handoff left side, Krua bouncing to the edge, spinning, knocked out of bounds short of the goal line. That was kind of like a bumper cars deal there as he turned, bounced off one hit, got spun around. Did gain some, though, as he got about maybe 4, it looks like.
And you see the kind of balance and vision that Prince Krua has. A lot of guys would have been knocked down on that, and his balance kept him going, and he just kept his feet underneath him and actually turned what could have been nothing into something.
2nd and goal from the 2 now for Osseo. Handoff to Krua. Dives forward, and he's in for the touchdown. Osseo on the scoreboard for the first time here in this 2015 season, and the first time in today's game as Krua taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Orioles will strike first.
We had three straight plays to Prince Krua, 1 on the outside, 2 right up off the guard for the touchdown.
Extra point kick is up, and it is good. And so our score becomes 7-0 Osseo. 11 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Our second quarter.
You see the pretty good surge by the defensive lineman, but Krua finds the seam and gets right between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman to wiggle into the end zone and get that first touchdown of the season.
So field position, because of the wind, certainly had an impact on that, that last sequence, and that's going to be the case all game long.
Yeah, I think that that punt by Will Rule was by Rash. Sorry about that, Ted Rash. But that may be indicative of what we see from time to time today as the wind catches the ball.
Dean Lum kicking off here for the Orioles. He will keep it on the ground, and it is fielded by the lineman up front. Washika recovering that one at the 43-yard line. So very good field position for Maple Grove. I mean, obviously, you take the possibility of a long return by Collins or someone else out of the sequence, but I think that the hands up front really paid off for Maple Grove. Even though you'd like to get a game breaker, a chance to run the ball, you'll take it at the 43, I would guess.
Absolutely. And by the same token, that's a calculated risk by Osseo, that if they're not ready for an onside kick, you can get the ball back right away and make a big change.
Davison handing off. Collins breaks the first tackle, getting to the edge, but then thrown down. Osseo has pretty good team speed. Really, both these teams do. As a stop made by Quincy Williams, able to wrap up Isaac Collins after a pickup of, it looks like, 3 for the Crimson. 2nd and 7. Haven't had any success throwing the ball yet, just 0 for 2. Collins started out with a couple, a nice sequence in the beginning, but they haven't really racked up the yardage on the ground all that much either.
He hasn't really been able to break a tackle. He got a nice move on that play, but didn't really get a lot out of it.
Collins takes the handoff again, ridden down right at midfield. Few Orioles in there, but Matthew Jenkins was wrapped up around on his back. Pickup of about 4 more. Collins is, I think he's added some strength even too. He was already a strong guy, but watching him and they had a little bit of an inter-squad scrimmage earlier this week, and he's hit the weight room. He's ready to rock and roll and take a lot of those hits too. So 3rd down and 4 here for the Crimson, and Osseo jumping. Davison might have gotten him with a bit of a hard count there, and that should give them enough, and it will, for the first down.
That always drives coaches crazy when the 2 guys closest to the ball are the ones that jump. They're the guys, defensive linemen have got to see the football, and they have got to move on the movement of the ball. They cannot listen to the quarterback.
So a big first down there for Maple Grove. Handoff to Hanscom, and keeps the legs driving as he goes backward for about 3 or 4 as Brown Sloan had a hold of him, but not a completely firm grasp of him to be able to stop him in his tracks. And he did a good job of just keeping the legs driving.
They got a pretty good bump on him in the backfield, in the offensive backfield, right after he got the handoff, and he was able to get his feet underneath him. And as he said, it wasn't a really stopping hit, and he ended up getting 3 yards, which is pretty good when you're hitting the backfield.
Second and about 7. Davison handing off, but flags down, I believe. Yeah, we're going to have a procedure penalty here against Maple Grove. Fourth penalty of the game against the Crimson. Osseo has committed 3. You know, we talked quite a bit about the shorter week and everything. The one thing, too, though, is that these teams work so much through the summer compared to what they used to. Yeah, that it's a completely different world than it was 20 years ago in terms of what you do over the summer.
Right.
Here's Davison. Pocket breaks down. Pass is complete. And down to the 30, Eddie Lee able to snatch that one out of the air, and the first completion of the game for Maple Grove.
Nice grab by Eddie Lee, and he was under pressure by the defensive back. Makes a hit right as soon as that ball is there. Is that Armstrong? No.
They go back to Hanscom. And you see a little bit of rhythm for that Maple Grove offense. They come with a nice completion, then they come right back and going no huddle here. Inside the 25 to the 24. 2nd and 5 now for Maple Grove as they're on the move. Davison keeps it and falls forward inside the 20. Boy, the original fake man sure got lit up. Hanscom probably glad he didn't have the ball because he really got blasted, but Davison kept it and got 4.
The 3rd and short. But that was a very nice ball fake by Davison, and then a nice run to get close to the first down stick.
3rd and a yard. And he will hand it off, and Hanscom will easily pick up the first down. Good surge by that right side of the offensive line. Stopped by Armstrong, but easily picks it up. Yeah, we're speaking of Collins putting on, there's no doubt Davison too.
Right.
Has put on some muscle. He's, you know, as he's growing, he's got some, a lot of colleges interested in him for basketball and football. Back to Hanscom it goes, nice. And a good surge. Boy, they're starting to knock Osseo off the ball a little bit now. Pickup of about 5 more, it looks like, for Hanscom.
Newell and Awashika on that left side of the Maple Grove line doing a nice job.
2nd and 5. Maple Grove looking to tie things up. They're down 7-0 here. Davison fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, gets wrapped up there by Jack Kramer, but reaches forward. He'll be short of the first down, but not by a whole lot. And they're continuing to get positive on each play. It sure makes it easier to get that next first down.
Yeah, when you don't put yourself in a hole with bad plays or penalties, then you're able to put yourself in position to have decent down and distance.
Hanscom takes the handoff. He's driven back, but his initial progress might be enough for this first down. And
it's very close.
They may still yet have to measure this.
Yeah, he's gonna call for it.
Yeah, when in doubt, good idea to do so. Even the Osseo scoreboard operator thinks they have it because they've put up first and goal on the 5 already. 6:19 to play here in the first half. A windy afternoon, but expected storms holding off for now. It is indeed a first down for Maple Grove, and it will be first down and goal to go. By far their best drive here, as they saw Osseo go into the end zone on a short field, and they're looking to march it right back at them, and looking good to do so, at least at the moment. We'll see if Osseo can step up and make a big play or two here and keep them out. Hanscom has carried the load in the backfield on this drive for the most part. Collins was in there earlier. Timeout taken by the offense by Maple Grove. I'm not sure if they didn't have the formation or personnel they wanted in there, but better to be sure about things right here than you know, snaps when you're not confident.
Absolutely.
There you see a game you saw on Channel 12 a year ago over at Maple Grove. Osseo hanging on, 27-26 victory as Maple Grove set it up for a try at a winning field goal and didn't quite get it to go. So Osseo got the big victory there. Only regular season loss actually for Maple Grove last year.
Right.
And then they lost in the semifinals to eventual champ Eden Prairie, but not to say like, okay, Eden Prairie isn't still the king of the hill, but both in the semifinal against Maple Grove and in the championship against Totino Grace, they were not better by much. I mean, the gap is very much tightened, I think,
absolutely,
among some of those top teams. Here we go, first down, goal to go for the Crimson. Collins back in there. Isaac Collins is in for the touchdown. First Maple Grove score of the year, and they are on the board and within 7-6.
That was a really nice possession, not only for Isaac Collins getting the touchdown, but for the entire Maple Grove offense making a nice drive. They just punched the ball downfield, did exactly what they had to do, as we see Isaac Collins getting in off the right guard and into the end zone.
And now Collins will assume holding duties as Eddie Lee will attempt the extra point, or maybe he won't. Collins steps up, takes the snap himself. However, there are flags everywhere. They may have been moving toward the line of scrimmage there, and they're going to bring this one back.
They didn't come completely set for 1 second, Collins and Eddie Lee. They've got to be still for a second before the ball is snapped, and I think that's what the illegal procedure was. So we'll get a 5-yard penalty and redo this thing.
See if it means they will in fact go to a kick now, or, I mean, obviously the element of surprise is kind of gone now, plus you got a lot farther to go. Although it looks like the tee is coming off. Davison's coming back in, so they are going to go for
back
two.
To regular offense. They're still wanting the 2 on there. So the 1 point loss from last year.
Here's Davison looking to throw and complete, but flags down again, and Davison is also down.
He took a shot right as he let go of the ball.
Haven't seen the signal yet on what this penalty is. Another procedure against Maple Grove. Boy, they had the play they wanted to, as Kai Carlson was open. Here's a look at Davison as he throws. Boy, a free rush. Nobody got a piece at all of Dimitri Devontae Stewart. So push him back again here. Still going to go for the 2. Again, the wind is such a big factor, and they don't have their regular kicker today either, Tyler Knutson. Here's the throw, all alone, and the 2-point conversion is good as he finds Jared Martinson, one of their tight ends. So Maple Grove wasn't exactly how they had it designed, but on the 3rd try, they do get that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, so they lost the element of surprise, completed a pass, proceeded illegally. We see the touchdown. And then, boy, that tight end, Martinson, was just wide open. Nobody marked him right off the line. He was just right up the seam. That's what offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, and tight ends love to see that.
Well, I tell you, it looks as though Maple Grove has got a couple different really nice 2-point plays. They can go to the previous one where they had the completion on the other side to Carlson, the receiver. That is, you know, even though you don't have a lot of space to defend, that's a tough thing when you know that the receiver, as soon as he catches it, he's probably going to be in the end zone. I mean, that's a tough thing to take away.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's got to be done, you know, that's where it's all angles, and, you know, somebody's got to be in the throwing lane. You got to figure out where the throwing lanes are, and people have to recognize it and get there right now. As soon as you recognize pass, you got to get in the throwing lane and get your hands up.
Hanscom will kick off. See what the wind does with this one. He's going to keep it on the ground, and it's handled very nicely. And Foley, though, kind of running backward and trying to get out of there. And this may end up actually hurting him because it was himself that ran backward. They're not going to give him forward progress. The ball was taken eventually by Maple Grove, but he's down. However, he goes all the way back to the 9-yard line. This goes from nice pickup to what are you doing?
Right.
See, now, if he had been wrapped up and gone down there, they would have given him forward progress, but he's running himself backward. I think it's a good call. And you see the ball's out late, but by that point he's down. But still for Osseo, not exactly a dream sequence there.
And that's what you tell your guys, your up front guys, when you catch the ball on a short kickoff like that, run to the goal line, and if you get tackled, but don't run anywhere else. And that's 2 mistakes now by Osseo on the kicking game that have really hurt them.
Handoff goes to Kelly on the right side, stepping through a tackler but forced out. Pretty well defended here by the Crimson. I'm guessing they're a little fired up after scoring that touchdown. Now their D comes out and says, how about we pin them deep and get a punt out of this?
You know, they got a gift on the return, and their defense is going to swarm after it. And one thing that Matt Lombardi's defenses do is they pursue to the outside very well. They do what is called spill the runner to the outside, and everybody knows that that's where he's going, so all the pursuit goes right in that angle, and they're usually very good at that kind of a play.
Play action. Gaylord throwing it up long for Hughes. A jump ball, and it looks like Hughes will have it.
Yeah, that's got to be offense.
He is fighting for it with Ampey, and it is offensive possession. Basically, tie goes to the offense in that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And how's that for a nice gainer? 31 yards on the completion.
It was a big play by both the offense and the defense, and Gaylord does a nice job to get that ball off. You see the offensive guy comes out. The defensive guy actually caught it. Ampey actually caught it, but the offensive guy came down with it, and that's what matters in the official's eyes.
So 1st and 10 on the 40. The wind getting even stronger. Here's Krua, the handoff. Krua, nice gainer, out to about midfield. He's going to be a little shy. Stepped out at the 49, but give him 9 on that play. So now the momentum may be swinging toward Osseo a little bit as they get the big completion and then a nice 9-yard run, and we're going to have a timeout requested here by Maple Grove, and it is Matt Lombardi coming out there, didn't like what he saw, and always quick to say, we'll take a timeout immediately. I'm not going to wait till they come off to explain what was going on or what they did wrong. And it also kills the momentum of the other team a little bit. Not that that's the main objective here, but really nice kick-out block by Cordell Russell there.
Exactly, and Krua does a nice job of staying with his blocker and letting his blocker make the move and then cutting off of it. And that's what you like to do. If you outrun your blocker, it doesn't do you any good.
So a 2nd down and about a yard for Osseo. A little under 5 minutes to play here in this first half. After a scoreless first quarter, each team has scored here in the second, with Maple Grove finishing their drive with a 2-point conversion after Osseo had kicked for theirs. So they lead it, Crimson leading it 8-7. We'll talk a little bit more at halftime about the new district setup for football. These teams are in the same district but not the same sub-district. So they will not be playing for the same sub-district title.
Right.
Osseo will be playing primarily teams that were in the Northwest Suburban, whereas Maple Grove is not, but we'll touch more on that coming up at halftime. 2nd down and a yard for Gaylord and the Osseo offense. Back to Krua it goes. Krua following a nice block, and he will be into Crimson territory as he just laid in behind Jackson Elard, who did a solid job opening a hole there or knocking the defender back anyway.
Yeah, that's a good example of Prince Krua following his blocker, letting his blocker make the play, and then cutting off of it and getting a nice gain. You know, he doesn't have to be the fastest guy every time, every step. All he has to do is find where that seam is, and so far he seems to like to let the play develop and then use his speed as the block is being made, which is what you want a good running back to do.
First down from the Crimson 44. They go to Kelly this time. Kelly following Hughes's block, and Collins spins him out. Flag is down. Late hit on Collins as he finished by throwing him out. And it is going to be a major penalty on the Crimson.
Yeah, that's just a bad situation for Isaac Collins and the Maple Grove defense, because Kelly had already made a nice gain. He was out of bounds, and if you hit him and bump him, and that's okay if you're making the play inside, but you throw him down out of bounds, that's going to get you a flag every time.
So you got right there and right into our living room there too.
Yeah. Good thing we've got agile feet on our cameramen.
So first down for the Orioles inside the 15. Krua that time coming to a complete stop, and that's usually not going to work well. There was nothing there at all, and a good job by the Crimson.
Yeah, that time when he looked up to let his block go for him, all he saw was white jerseys.
So a loss on that play. Bring up a second down and about a dozen here for the Orioles as they try and grab the lead back. Boy, they did not start in very good field position, but have marched up the field. That long completion to Hughes where he battled with the jump ball was really the big play. 2nd and 12, Gaylord handing it off. Krua, the cutback. Inside the 10 he goes, and inside the 5 before he's ridden down hard there, and it'll be first down and goal, it looks like, for Osseo, or very close to it anyway. Maybe not.
Maybe it's third and very short, or is it first and goal?
Looks like it will be third and short. Nope, didn't quite get there, but. So they'll spot it inside the 4. 3rd down and a yard here for Osseo. Fullback in behind I formation this time, and it's going to be Gaylord down the keep, and he will have enough as they keep pushing that pile. And it's going to be a touchdown. Wow, they just kept that leg drive going, and I was just about to say that Osseo has some pretty good size on their O-line, which in a lot of years it recently hasn't really been the case, but it certainly is this year. And Gaylord was never forward progress, never really stopped, and they just drive it in.
By that time, he just got in behind big old Nash Jensen at 6'4", 315 pounds, and was able to get it in there.
Here's going for 2. Zach Tyson takes the handoff, gives it to Hughes, and he goes in for the touchdown. So the backup quarterback, Zach Tyson, taking that snap and giving it to Hughes, and he gets in easily, and now Osseo grabs the lead back here. It's been a entertaining second quarter. There you get a look. There was never a point either where Maple Grove couldn't say, well, you know, we basically had the pile stop, because they really didn't.
They didn't. And that 2-point conversion, Maple Grove forced the 2-point conversion attempt. Osseo responded the way they want to, but yeah, that's the give and take. That's the chess game going on right now between these two coaching staffs. Is now we're each forcing the other guy to make a move that maybe he didn't want to at that particular point in the game. We'll see if Coach Lamker and his staff have another onside kick or another kick to an unusual part of the field in line here for us.
Lum will kick this ball here for the Orioles as they go back in front, 15-8. Collins and Ampey waiting back. They're having to hold the ball because of how windy it is here. And he's going to punch one. Going to be playable for Ampey on about the 17, and got by the first wave and out over the 35 to about the 36-yard line. So pretty solid field position again. Maple Grove offensively a little bit slow starting, but the last time they had the ball looked very sharp.
Yeah, they really, their offensive line has been coming off the ball pretty well the entire game so far. But it was a big play for Davison to get that first completion, get a first down off of it, get a little bit of momentum from that, and they got the Osseo defense just a little bit on their heels throughout that drive, and were able to punch it in. Now they got to see if they can keep that level of energy.
From the 37, Collins takes the handoff and reaches forward near the 45-yard line. Stopped there by Brown Sloan for Osseo. Give him about 7 on that carry. .245 to go. Davison, 4 receivers in the route, gonna throw it deep down the middle and incomplete. Official falls down, and that one was over everyone's head. Maybe a little bit of a push there. Rash was the intended target.
Yep. But
ball was clearly not near him enough, and I think probably again a good no call here. As he turned to look for it, he did get, bumped a little bit, but
he not a well-timed jump, and not I think the receivers have got, they've got to be aware that they have got to run their routes, and they've got to run.
Davison on the keeper may have enough for this first down, it would appear. Yes, it will be.
Davison's done a nice job the last 2 drives, taking some of the pressure off of Collins and Hanscom in running the ball and making some nice positive yards. They cannot ignore him as a running back.
From the 48, little play action, looking down the middle. Oh, and Armstrong climbing the ladder, almost had the pick, and let's hope he's all right, because he really went down hard. Martinson was the intended target, and looks like Armstrong's a little bit shaken up. Boy, he really went up for that ball.
Yeah, he really, as you said, Jay, climbed the ladder and got well up over the 6'5" or 6'6" Martinson, but boy, that was a nice play, but 3 guys collided too.
Second down, and the handoff. Collins struggling forward, but he's not going to be able to get out of there. It didn't appear that Maple Grove was really in sync on when they started that play, and it allowed Osseo a whole lot of penetration there.
Looks like the ball was snapped on 1, and everybody thought it was going to be on 2.
Yes, and it's obviously puts you at a bit of a disadvantage as a blocker when the other guy gets a bit of a head start on you, and that whole play looked like it. So 3rd down and 13 now for the Crimson. 1:50 to go before halftime. They're back to their own 45-yard line.
And 1 timeout remaining for the Crimson. So they've got some clock to work with. Just they've got to get the first down now.
One-handed catch of that snap by Davison, stepping up into the throw and over the top of everyone as he tried to find Teddy Rash, and it sails incomplete, and presumably a punting situation here for Maple Grove. Rash back in punt formation here for the Crimson. Hughes will be the single returner. Gets the kick away and again toward the sideline. No chance at a return. And out of bounds. Out a 21-yard punt or so there, and it will be Osseo football. 1:25 to go, 2 timeouts left, and they've got about 66 yards or so to go. 65 yards to the other end zone. Be interesting to see if they, with this lead, play it kind of safe, or if they try and get something going.
That's a good thought. I was trying to remember the last time I saw Darren Lamker offense play it safe.
Well, and the thing is, though, you can do you have the option of some relatively safe start of plays, but we've got guys who can break it.
There you go.
Hughes coming in motion, takes the handoff, and not much doing there. They will not get back to the line of scrimmage, as they did not fool Maple Grove at all, and a lot of bodies there waiting for him, and he'll lose about 3.
Yeah, the pursuit from, again, I commented on it already, but the pursuit of the Maple Grove defense is excellent. They get good angles, they're quick, and they're fast, and they go hard.
Well, and I think they are able to do able to hit things in the right way, in that they pursue extremely hard but don't get caught really out of position very often either. And that's a fine line sometimes.
Yeah, that angle discipline is really important on pursuit.
2nd and 13. Gaylord under center this time, handing it off to Krua, short side. He's going to spin back the other way, and there might be some room. Krua, nice fake on Burrington. He's into the Crimson territory, and then Collins tosses him down at the 45. About a 27-yard run or so there for Krua. Started out one way, not much there. How about I go the other way?
A 27-yard run in which he ran about 50 yards, and he gave Burrington all he could handle on that inside-outside move.
From the 44-yard line, going to throw it out into the flat to Armstrong. He's immediately wrapped up and then pounded as Burrington came back. Got a good stick on him after he was forced back inside a little bit.
Yeah, the corners for Maple Grove are coming very hard on that quick pass to the sideline, and they're letting it go.
So the time will run down, and we reach halftime of this one. A good football game here on the home field of the Orioles, as after a scoreless first quarter, Maple Grove scores once, Osseo scores twice in that second quarter. So the Orioles will maintain a 15-8 lead here at halftime of this one. Seen some big plays, we've seen some penalties, we've seen some big defensive plays, and kind of what you'd hope for and what you'd expect here in this kind of an opener, Bill.
Yes, and really from a play standpoint and a technicality standpoint, I think it was pretty well played. There were a couple of penalties and a couple of not so good plays, but pretty well played.
Let's go down to Allie with Coach Lampker.
All right, Coach, up by 7 here at half. It's really been a great defensive effort for you guys, though, in that first half. What's your assessment of that?
Well, I'm really proud of our defense. You know, our offense made a mistake. We got the ball down there. We should have got one, and we had some penalties, and we're playing tough up front right now, but we're just not executing some things. Obviously, a coach, you know, wants everything to be best, but for an opener, we had a few penalties only, not too many. I'm proud of my guys and their effort. It's hot, and these guys are tough. I mean, this is, you know, a tough team, and our guys are battling with them.
And how about that Krua kid?
Yeah, how about Prince? Why doesn't he score there? He got caught. He might be too slow. No, I'm proud of him. Did a nice job, but it's the guys up front that are doing it for him. He's working behind him, waiting, doing his thing.
All right, good luck in the second, Coach. All right, back to you guys.
Thanks, Ellie, and thanks, Coach Lampker. We'll be hearing from Coach Lombardi, too, here at halftime of this one. It is a warm and a windy one here. Season opener for 2015. Osseo leading Maple Grove 15-8 at halftime. We'll be back with more of our live coverage of football here on 12 Sports.
Volunteering is more than just a word. It's a window to opportunities. Take Mark, for example. By taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television, Mark is helping bring entertainment and information to his community, along with building a foundation of skills that will take him one step closer to his dreams. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
Hey, you going out like that?
Yeah, why?
Well, what would the neighbors think?
I see you! Come look at Mr. Feather.
Look what I have.
Mr. Bird, remember? Bark, bark, bark. We're just playing. We're just playing on trying to get you out of here.
Even still.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And welcome back here to John Hanson Stadium at Carlton Field at Osseo as an early dance team performance here for Osseo. The Orioles leading the Crimson by a score of 15-8, and obviously some pretty major changes, not just in the timing of the scheduling, but in the way things are shaping up now. District schedules and no longer conferences. The high school league kind of stepped in and is basically organizing things. And here's the West Metro District North. Now, not really sure I love the name. No. Anyway, here's a group of teams that Osseo will be with. Obviously, it's a lot of familiar opponents for them. A lot of the teams from the Northwest Suburban. Early indications, early projections figure that Osseo and Totino will be the strongest teams there, but that's a good bunch of teams.
Andover has had a pretty good team the last couple of years. Blaine Centennial, always competitive, and Champlain Park usually. But I think that top to bottom, that's a pretty tough division to be in. I think the high school league needed to be a little bit more on the creative name side of things.
And then here's the West Metro District West, okay? And that is the one that Maple Grove is in, and they stepped into a very tough situation. But Matt Lombardi was familiar with that group of teams in the Lake when he was at Wayzata. This is where he wanted them to be playing against some of the best. And you have all the what was the Lake Conference, and then you throw in Prior Lake, Shakopee, and Maple Grove. And I don't know that there could be too many that are going to be harder than that group.
No, that's going to be a tough one. Prior Lake really had a breakout year last year, being a 9-2 team. And Minnetonka, Edina, Hopkins, always tough. Wayzata, always tough. So you've got several very, very good teams there. Shakopee may find themselves struggling from time to time, but they have improved over the last couple of years as well. So tough divisions, and well done. I think well done by the high school league to set things up.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today, that the, is it across the board going to help every team? No. But it certainly helps everybody that was having a lot of trouble scheduling. And I think it was just something that had to be done. When you had teams that sometimes were only having 7 games, or they were driving to Kansas City to play somebody, or to Manitoba, I think this was definitely the right move. I think there are quite a few states that do have something more similar to this. So, yeah, maybe everybody isn't going to love it, or it's going to take some time to get used to, but all in all, I think it's been a good thing.
I would agree. We were talking earlier in the week, Jay, that, this is not something that was set up by the metro area teams. There's a number of teams in the outstate area that have really struggled scheduling. Teams like Moorhead, a fairly good-sized school. There's not a lot of big schools near them. Bemidji, some of those schools. Detroit Lakes, trying to find games to play and having struggled to find 8 good games. So I think the districts help that kind of situation very much.
Well, we talked about football day in Osseo. They had a parade of fall teams, and we're seeing the cross-country team on the track too. We will come back with more of our coverage here of Osseo Maple Grove football on 12 Sports. The Orioles lead at 15-8. Our halftime continues in just a moment.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Hi, I work at the NEDA helpline. We have something called Click to Chat, which is a live chat with someone on the helpline, and they're really able to get support.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think. Billy!
Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing.
Wow! I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark.
That was awesome! Let's go again!
3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
It starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
And welcome back here to Osseo. 15-8, Orioles leading the Crimson at halftime of the opener for 2015. First half highlights for you, starting with a roll right by Brad Davison. Looked like a big long completion inside the 20, but it was called back on a penalty. Davison was just over the line of scrimmage, and they wiped that one out. Prince Krua getting a handoff here for Osseo and bouncing this one to the outside. Is a pretty good first half for Prince in the Osseo rushing attack. Davison rolling here, and this time he'll get dropped as Foley able to get in and wrap him up, as the defense has kind of had control in the first quarter somewhat, although a little bit less so as the quarter went, or as the half went on. Gaylord's pass tried to go to Armstrong. Great catch, but it was out of bounds after an excellent play by Doyle, the linebacker, to get a hand on that one. Then they went middle screen here, and Armstrong wrapped up, fumbled it, got it back, but that one stopped the drive as the defenses continue to excel. But Osseo coming back, Prince Krua getting this run down inside the 10-yard line. And then here's the touchdown. That first one set up a touchdown. Then Isaac Collins answering with a 5-yard run for Maple Grove. They got a 2-point conversion and were able to finish it off to take the lead 8-7 after Osseo had gone up 7-0. And there's a run by Krua. And there was that touchdown again. Here's Gaylord running this one in from 4 yards out. There's what Coach talked about, the surge of the offensive line. He was talking about Krua, but that time Gaylord following it in, a 4-yard run, and they got a 2-point conversion. You see the halftime stats. Osseo's definitely had the better of things overall, and they have a lead to show for it at 15-8. Well, there is a new new guy in charge of Osseo sports this year. He'd been a coach here for a long time, a teacher, and now he has taken over, Bill Kwan, and we had a chance to talk with him earlier this week. John Jacobson did. Here's that interview.
Welcome back to halftime of our Osseo Maple Grove football game. We're with Bill Kwan, who's the new activities coordinator here at Osseo High School. And Bill, first of all, we talked about this when you took the job last spring. I'm sure a big learning curve, but how was your first couple of months that now you're officially on the job gone for you?
It's kind of amazing how busy it has been. You come into the job, Ray really prepared me really well and was a very good mentor. But from the day-to-day stuff, you know, you're checking things off your list, but the list seems to grow every single day.
I know it was a tough decision for you because you loved coaching and working with kids in the volleyball program as many years as you were coach here. How has that transition gone for you? And now that volleyball practice has started.
It's been a tough walking by that gym, seeing all the girls in there. I've coached for 5 or 6 years, but at the same time, it's been real fun walking through their gym, then swinging by soccer and tennis and swimming practice and hanging out at football practice. So being able to be around all the kids in our school has been a lot of fun.
How much do you enjoy that part of it, just being able to be a part of all the different programs in some way?
I'll really be able to tell you in a year from now, but just hanging out at soccer practice for 2 hours the other day with the head coach there and jumping in at 9A football practice and watching that. So from all the levels and getting to know all the kids, I think it's going to be very beneficial for me.
Ninth graders come into the high schools in this district this year, so how has that changed the job for you or for Lambert Brown at Maple Grove or John Hedstrom at Park Center?
I think in some ways it's going to make the job a little bit easier with the transfer issues and trying to figure out where kids are supposed to go to high school when they're at 4 different junior highs. Now the ninth graders in our building, they're enrolled at our high school, so that part of it's going to be a lot easier. And I think it's going to really increase our enrollment in a lot of our sports because we'll be in the building with them and be able to get them to sign up for especially spring and winter sports.
For the activities coordinator, what's your biggest responsibilities day in and day out for people that don't know exactly what you do Monday through Friday?
The big thing is to make sure that when the teams and the coaches go out there on game day and on practice day, that they have no issues and no problems. The referees show up, the fields are ready to go, and really if they don't have any complaints and things are running smoothly, I'm doing my job.
Anything new for Osseo as far as coaches for this year that you've had to deal with since you took over July 1st?
Yeah, we've had quite a few hires already, actually. We have a new marching band director. We actually have a field marching band this year you'll see at halftime tonight. And then we had a new musical director, a new wrestling coach, David Ahmed. He's from Elk River. He'll be taking over our wrestling program and being a new math teacher here at Osseo Senior High School. So the turnover here has been pretty good, but at the same time we have some of the old standbys and Darren Lamker, Tim Tyson. So it's going to be a fun year.
Bill, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bill Kwan, new activities coordinator here at Osseo High School. We'll take a break, and Jay will be back with more of our coverage today of Maple Grove Osseo football on 12 Sports after this.
An eating disorder feels like having another person inside your head. It kind of built this wall around me.
The main thing that we needed was hope.
Your age, your gender, your ethnicity. Eating disorders don't discriminate. They can strike anyone. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back here to John Hanson Stadium at Carlton Field, Osseo High School. The sun has gone behind the clouds, at least for now, but we're holding on, holding out hope we'll get through this one before we get wet. Definitely a windy afternoon here, though, and that has had some impact on play. Our sideline reporter this afternoon is Allie Arlt. Let's go down to Allie.
Hey, thanks, Jay. You know, I talked with Coach Lombardi walking back onto the field after half, and I asked him about how they're going to spark their offense here in the second. He talked nothing but defense. He said his defense is young, they're raw, and they're running away from the ball. He said that he needs them to really attack here in the second. He also said he plans on putting 7 guys on Prince so that he gets stopped from Osseo in the second.
Thanks very much, Allie. And these teams, I think in a lot of ways, Bill, some good things that you like to see, but as Coach Lamker said too, you know, first game, you're always going to have a few things that you didn't like. You acknowledge that you're not going to be perfect, and you also acknowledge that you're playing a really good football team that can make you look bad in certain situations.
Exactly. The 11 guys on the other side of the ball are trying to do their job just as much as your guys are. But I think what both of the coaches have seen so far is they're not disappointed in the effort that their players are making. And at halftime, the adjustments that they're going to be needing to make are going to be very minor. They're just going to be trying to get their guys, all right, stay focused, do your job, trust your teammate, and, you know, let's get after these kinds of things to make our play better. And, you know, like Matt said, he's going to put 7 guys on Prince Crua. I think that might have been a little bit of an exaggeration. He might only be committing 6.
You know, there were certain times when it seemed like they did a pretty good job against him, but when you're able to pop those, you know, he had 3 20-plus yard runs.
Yep.
That can change the complexion of the game. And they more so than anything, too, Osseo made a couple big plays at key times. That pass that got them, they were pinned deep in their own end, and that 31-yard pass that Hughes battled for the catch and ended up getting the catch. You see Andover leading Edina their game, and a lot of the games. This game was originally scheduled for 2, so it was not moved, but there were quite a few games that were supposed to be in the evening that ended up, you know, I think probably a lot of the thinking would have been for scheduling them at night is because it would be too hot in the afternoon. Right. So then you end up moving them to the afternoon anyway. I mean, you're always playing that guessing game, and obviously storms can happen, you know, really at any time of the year.
Yeah, my nephew plays at North St. Paul, and they got the word yesterday afternoon after practice that their game with South St. Paul was being moved from 7 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's a little bit late in the game. I understand why, but that's hard on coaches and kids as well.
Hanscom with the kick. Armstrong takes it at the 21-yard line, trying to bounce to the outside. DeMario Armstrong shoved out of bounds there by Lasana Cisse, but a good return and actually, you know, catching the ball in the spot they wanted it there. So he'll be out over the 42-yard line. DeMario Armstrong looked like he got a little shaken up when he jumped real high to help break up a pass in the first half and kind of got undercut. But it looks like he is back and feeling ready to go. DeMario, of course, playing in the state tournament in basketball last year. He plays at Maranatha Christian Academy, attends school there. And they have a co-op football-wise with Osseo. So first down and 10 on their own 43 for Malik Gaylord and the Orioles. Handing it off to Hughes. Cisse is right there and then gets help to finish him off by Leroy Quate for the Crimson, and a heck of a play. It was a nice tackle on the kickoff return, and then Cisse turns around and says, I'll do it again here on this first play from scrimmage.
Well, I think that's the direction that Matt Lombardi wants his guys defensively to run. Cisse certainly ran right into the running back that time. Nice 5-yard loss for the Maple Grove defense, an uncomfortable loss for Osseo offense, but well played by Cisse.
Put that in the tackle for loss column, and he hopes to build that stat up throughout the year, obviously. Here's Crua trying to get to the outside. Cisse does a nice job again, ranging over to bring him down, and he'll get a little bit of that yardage back, but not a whole lot. That's about a yard or 2 gain is all for Prince Crua. And Maple Grove, after Osseo got the ball in pretty good field position, they have to feel good. You know, you get the feeling, as Allie had said in talking with Coach Lombardi, that he challenges defense a little bit. They're dictating to us. We got to get upfield and make them uncomfortable.
And that's exactly what's happened on these first 2 plays. Now you're challenged with a 3rd and 14, which is a very tough situation.
Gaylord will hand it off to Crua. Big gap initially, but it closes in a hurry. A solid tackle by Quate there for Maple Grove, so he will get about 3 or 4, but obviously nowhere near enough for the first down, and bring up what would appear to be a punting situation for the Orioles here. And again, Gaylord is the punter as well, but they do bring in the rest of that punt team.
4th and 10. We'll see how Gaylord handles the punting here, going this direction.
Good snap, and he gets away a low knuckler. It is going to be grabbed by Ampe. He gets a block. Ampe to midfield, and then ridden down by Osseo's Lum, but nice return there after getting a good block near the point of the catch. Ampe was aggressive in coming up to make sure he caught that one too, and that was a key point in that.
And he did a nice job of making one move and then running straight up field and just keep running straight. I think that's one of the real keys to good punt and kick return, particularly punt returning, is you've got to run upfield. You can't run sideline to sideline.
1st and 10 on the Osseo 49. Maple Grove getting good field position. Davison handing off to Hanscom, and he is wrapped up. Boy, Cordell Russell, that's a form tackle right there as he puts his shoulder pad around in the gut and drives him back. Cordell Russell, one of the guys they're really counting on this year, defensively and a little bit offensively as a tight end or H-back as well. Only a 1-yard gain. Hanscom actually outrushed Collins in the first half, which partly because of a couple of plays where they lost big that weren't really Collins' fault. I mean, the one snap that got away from him when he was the Wildcat quarterback. There's Davison. A flag flies right at the end of this play, away from the play. The official on the near sideline threw it very late in the game there. Not much of a gain for Maple Grove, but we'll see what we might have. This could be
something against
defense,
Osseo.
It looks like. Perhaps a personal foul, maybe?
Late hit, personal foul.
Yeah, it is going to be a personal foul. Oh, face mask.
Face mask of some sort. Okay.
And it'll be a first down. And I don't think, I'm not certain, but just by the where the flag came from, I don't think it was against the ball carrier. I think it was away somebody from the ball. Shedding a block that got a little aggressive and grabbing the mask. So that one definitely hurts the Orioles right there. And Darren Lamker praised his team for not having a lot of penalties at halftime, but he's probably not thrilled with that one.
No, those are the kind of penalties that you really don't need to have. Those are loss of concentration penalties.
From the 31, flag down, Hanscom to the 25, but I think this one will be coming back. Flags from each side. We had a procedure against Maple Grove. So what would have been a pretty nice gainer on first down is going to be brought back. Coach Lombardi, I talked with him a little bit about, I said, when you had just the 2 weeks to prepare, did you put in fewer things? And he said, no, I've always been a believer in throwing everything at them at first, and then we get better at it as we go.
Right.
But the loss of having that one scrimmage, he said a lot of times we don't look very good in the scrimmage, but we watch it on tape, and then by that first game, we've got a lot of that ironed out.
Yeah.
He was a little worried about that. And there is Russell getting in to break up that pass attempt from Davison. Russell overpowering the block a little bit, got him to within a couple yards of Davison and unable to throw it over him.
Well, that was real good pressure by Cordell Russell to get up, hit the seam. He hit the A seam right now and got past the lineman and was able to get his hands up just as Davison was releasing the ball, and that's a tough one. There's again, puts it in 2nd and long now.
2nd and 15. They want a little middle screen. Davison gets it to Collins. Collins getting a block, trying to get away from Armstrong. Look at that leg drive. Isaac Collins showing a tough run. Those are the kind that the linemen go, oh yeah. And didn't quite get the first down, but he got awful close to it. A lot of it on sheer will here.
Here's pretty good wrap up and hit right there, but he just keeps going and he gets 5 yards after he's hit.
Here is Davison with the keep. He is wrapped up, but he'll have enough for the first down just inside the 20 as Russell makes the stop.
And Davison, as you said, has put on a little weight. He's a little taller. I think he was around 6'1" last year. He's listed at 6'3" now. And he's a little rangier, a little stronger, probably a lot more confident. And it's showing in his play.
First and 10 now from the Orioles 20. Osseo leading 15-8, but Maple Grove on the march. Davison throws complete. And down inside the 15 to about the 13 goes Martinson. 6'6", 215-pounder, plays on the Crimson basketball team too. They've got a couple of nice tight ends with him and Will Rule.
They do.
Be about a 6-yard pickup there. Handoff goes to Collins. A hole initially, and again, he's knocking guys backward. Good low center of gravity, and he'll have the first down and down to about the 7.
Yeah, he's got that leg drive that just really is tough. You've got to really come up and strike him to slow him down.
From the 6, back to Ike Collins. Flag is down. He gets down to the 2, but this presumably might be another offensive penalty. It looks like the where it was thrown.
Yeah, it's somebody on the line of scrimmage, I believe. Yeah, and they're pointing to the Crimson offense.
Illegal formation. So push them back 5, and that's it. Like you were saying, Bill, that's something where with the receiver not being on the line of scrimmage or something that made that an illegal formation.
Right.
The tight end may have been covered there. So push him back 5. Davison giving it to Collins. Shakes through the first tackle and fights his way down inside the 5. And we'll bring up
there.
second down and goal.
That was a nice gain. And one of the things that Isaac Collins does so well, you can see him slide in the hole. He moves sideways very nicely.
Davison on the keeper, and he will walk on in as they go no huddle, and Osseo caught off guard. One guy barely got off the field in time, and Davison able to step on in for the 3-yard touchdown. And Maple Grove now to within a point. See if they will kick this time to go for the tie, or if they will once again go for 2. The first time around, they lined up as if to kick and then ran for 2. There was a penalty, then they had another penalty, but then they got it on the 3rd one. Eddie Lee is the place kicker, or the extra point kicker for today. He will kick, and his kick is up, and it is good. So with 7:12 to play here in the 3rd quarter, Maple Grove fights back to tie things up at 15 apiece.
Well, that's a nice touchdown run by Brad Davison right there to get the ball in, not only get the ball in the end zone, but he made a nice ball fake again, which is really critical for a quarterback. He can't emphasize how important that is until you see it actually work so well on the field. You get 2 or 3 guys going to Isaac Collins, and he rides him nicely and pulls that ball out. Boom, and then there's a guy caught flat-footed, arm tackle, break it, and you're in the end zone. That's a really nicely done job by Brad Davison.
Yeah, and certainly I expected this coming in and it's showing up today, and that Davison, I think, is definitely going to be asked to be more of an offensive running threat.
Yes.
Last year they generally had him handing off and running some play action, throwing the football, some bootleg stuff, but didn't run a whole lot, where this year he's got the strength, the confidence, as you said, Bill, been in this offense a lot. He's a very smart quarterback too. Here's a kick taken on one hop at the 25-yard line. A little spin move there as on Easterling on the return there for the Orioles, and now it's their turn to see if they can get a little momentum back. We're nearing the midpoint of the 3rd quarter, and Maple Grove has fought back to tie things up.
You know, now we're getting to the point in the game where you got to find out who your grinders are. Who are the guys? I mean, the first game of the season, you're not used to going this long at the level of energy you have to have in a game, and this is where you're going to find out who you guys are going to grind it out for you, who your offensive and defensive linemen are going to continue to make plays.
Gaylord handing it off to Krua. Nice tackle slicing down for the Crimson there by Ryan Shea. Got about 3. It looked like it was going to be more than that initially, as it was actually pretty well blocked at the point of attack, but Shea able to scrape off and make a stop, and now it looks like Osseo is going to go to some more up-tempo offense here. 2nd down and 7, and Here is the handoff going to Krua, trying to get outside, but he won't do so. Finished off up top by Doyle, but there first was Quate for the Crimson, and that will be a loss of 3 back to the original line of scrimmage. And Bill, you talked about, you know, not used to going this long. We've talked an awful lot about the wind today, but haven't really been talking about the heat as much as probably we should have. You know, cramps and things like that, and just plain getting tired are going to be a little bit of an issue on this first game for all the teams playing today.
Yeah, and in practice, you get your rest comes a little bit different. Here you're running play after play after play. You got every 25 seconds, every 25 seconds, every 25 seconds, and you don't practice as much at that tempo for as long a period of time.
3rd and 10. Rush coming. Gaylord now throwing and coming back to get it. We'll see where they'll spot his progress. Is going to be short of the first down at about the 49-yard line as Armstrong came back very alertly, coming back hard for this ball. And Osseo feeling like maybe forward progress should have been enough to get him that first down, but official saying no. And in looking at it again, I think there's one reason why maybe they said, well, we'll get to that in a moment here. 4th down looks like they might go for it. 4th and a half yard at midfield. And they are going to go for it, and they are going to get it. There's some confidence.
There you go.
As it's Hughes taking the handoff, and he will get the first down. I was going to say, the fact that there was just a little bit of a battle for the ball there, I think probably allowed that previous play to be spotted where it was.
Here we can get a look at it. But see, his feet came down before the 50, and he was spotted at the 49. So that's a 2-yard swing almost. From an offensive point of view, you're going, what the heck? And then from a defensive, yeah, that was a nice call.
But they turn around and get the first down anyway. So at the Crimson 49, first down. Handoff here going to Kelly, and Kelly keeps his legs driving. He will have a first down as he stepped basically through a tackle. And talking with Coach Lampker a little bit in the preseason, and he said, I'll tell you what, it isn't just Prince Krua we have that's a stud back there.
Right.
Kelly, they are very high on his potential too.
And running Kelly, who is not a big guy from the fullback spot, but depending on that offensive line quickness and the quickness of the attack by Kelly, get a nice 11-yard gain.
Going to go right back to him, and there's another big hole. Kelly into the secondary. A strong tackle there by Quate, but he is down inside the 25, and we'll rip off about another dozen on that carry.
So again, back-to-back inside plays. And Kelly doing a nice job, keeps his leg going. And I think what happened, the Osseo offense has seen that the safeties from the Maple Grove defense are coming up into the alleys to take away the outside from Prince Krua. So that means that inside secondary attack is right there, and hitting it quickly is doing a good job.
Here's Hughes taking the handoff, and the ball comes out, but it's ruled down. And Osseo may be fortunate to keep that football there as it was well defended, and then the ball came squirting out. Actually, I'm going to get more yardage out of that than I would have guessed. It looks like he'll get about 2 or 3.
Right. But you can see guys coming in and reaching and grabbing at the ball. Ooh, they're calling that whistle. He was stopped, but not necessarily down. But that's the whistle. If the whistle blows, it doesn't matter anything. If the whistle blows, it's dead, and that's the end of it. And that's obviously what happened is that he got his shoulders turned coming backwards, and the whistle blew, and that's when the ball came out.
2nd down and 8, but we're going to have a timeout requested first here. So 2nd and 8, and Osseo wanting to talk things over. And Bill, I hesitate to say it, but the thought that we were going to have storms today doesn't seem so far off anymore.
No.
We're looking at the sky, and the wind is picking up, and I think a sense that we're going to get it is just a matter of when. And we're hoping we're hoping that just as we finish cleaning up and the last fan gets in their car, then it can rain. That's fine. But for the teams and the officials and the players and all the support staff, cheerleaders, and all that, we hope that everybody is able to get out safe and relatively intact here.
Absolutely.
Been a great ball game here, 15-15. And, I was thinking that, too, is that your coaches are saying, well, we're not going to be maybe as sharp as later in the year. There might be some more mistakes, but sometimes that makes for an exciting game too. I mean, let's be honest, a big play can happen because of a mistake, and those things can be pretty darn exciting too.
And this has been a well-played game. There's been a couple of penalties that have, I'm sure coaches aren't going to like. You know, coaches don't like any penalties, but a couple of procedure penalties, particularly against Maple Grove, has kind of slowed them down a little bit, but it hasn't really stopped them. It hasn't really affected the quality of play.
Second down and 8 coming up here for Gaylord and the Orioles as they've put together a nice march. Kelly ripping off a couple of double-digit yard runs. Here's Gaylord throwing it up, looking for Demario Armstrong, touchdown!
Wow.
Ampey got turned just a little bit late, and Armstrong is a little bit taller, and he's able to haul that one in. 21-yard strike, and Osseo's back in front.
Demario Armstrong did a nice job of getting himself in a position, getting the defender's hips turned, and as soon as he did, the ball was there, and he made a nice catch on that, nice clean catch.
Lum on for the extra point, and his kick is up, and it is good. And so with 3:16 to play here in the third quarter, Osseo back in front now at 21-15. Another look.
You see, Ampey just got turned enough. He was in good position, but he just got turned enough that Armstrong's able to get up over him and make the catch, and a well-thrown ball. Darren Lamker wasn't lying about Gaylord's arm, was he? The ball was right on the money.
And Armstrong, solid receiver out there too. As you said, probably 90% of that play, Ampey executed very well, but he was there, but just got up above him a little bit, and the ball thrown nicely to the outside shoulder. That's a lot of ground to cover, a lot of ground to defend, and Osseo able to take advantage of that single coverage.
Absolutely, and that was a nice drive, good change of pace by the Osseo offense. They kind of figured out that the secondary, the safeties were running up into that alley to keep Prince from running to the outside, and they were vulnerable to the inside on a couple of plays.
Lum's going to keep the ball on the ground again here and fielded. That's Hanscom taking it out. Oh, and we might have a late hit here. Yeah, didn't look like they threw the flag as a Maple Grove guy got a good hard push a little bit late in the day there.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty clean shot in the back more than the timing. It might have been late, but I thought he got him pretty well in the back. Ooh, yeah, hello.
So it will be Crimson football on their 39-yard line. First down, they trail by 7. 3:10 to go third quarter, and it's feeling more and more stormy on the horizon. Every drive here, it feels like. And Davison juggles that one a little bit, but comes down with it and is able to get some positive yardage, about 4 or so on that play for the Crimson.
Nice handling of a bad situation by Brad Davison that time to catch the ball, have enough moxie to just find where the seam was and get into it and make a positive play.
2nd and 6 now. Hand off to Isaac Collins. Collins lowers the shoulder and looks like he'll have the first down out to the 50. He was tackled, I guess you could say, but he actually was delivering much of the blow there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he definitely is a hard guy to bring down. He brings it. If you're going to tackle him, you better come up and tackle him. You better put weight to weight. You better put your body on him and make sure.
Holden Baker was slow to get up, so they're going to have to sub for him as Nash Jensen will come in there defensively. Ball resting just shy of midfield here. First down and 10 for the Crimson as they try and put a march together here to match that score by Osseo. Davison directing traffic as Hanscom shifts over to his right. Fakes the handoff. Davison in some trouble, but he's able to step up around it, and he's going to run. And Brad Davison will fall forward Not out of bounds, actually, just on the sideline at the 43 or 44 yard line. So got about 7 on a play where it looked like he might very well be sacked.
Yeah, he had to make a 180-degree turn there to his left. He was wanting to get out here on the right flank, and he just couldn't get there. It's too much pressure, and did a nice job of reversing field and getting a positive play there.
2nd and 3 now for Maple Grove. Handoff goes to Hanscom, and he is tripped up. Solid job there getting into the backfield by Brown Sloan for Osseo. And very minimal gain, if anything, there. So 3rd and a short 3 for the Crimson. Fakes the handoff. Davison will keep it, and he is close to the first down. They end up driving him back. I think he might be just shy, but we'll see.
He's just short of the 40-yard line, and they are going to call it 4th and short. Actually going to spot it closer to the 39. I thought he was closer to the 40, but that's a spot at the 39, so we're going to have the better part of a yard.
Under a minute to go in the quarter. 4th down and 1 here for Maple Grove. Osseo converted on one at midfield early in this quarter on a 4th down and 1. They'll go to the fullback, and they will get the first down with ease. And Sam Ross keeps on going. Osseo trying to rip the ball away. A flag comes down. Ross all the way down to the 25. Boy, it seemed like the play was basically over, and I think Osseo thought so too. But we'll see what this flag's all about. As he was being tackled, let me see. We'll see.
Boy, that was a
Ross getting his first carry. It is a face mask. 5-yarder. So the Orioles thought they were going to be able to get the football away, and instead they end up with there was just a quick little tug to the side. So Ross,
it was a
big run, and then they get the penalty tacked on as well.
Yeah.
Down to the 20-yard line. That's a huge play for the Crimson.
Especially on 4th and 1.
Davison fields the high snap. Now has to cut it back and just sees an opportunity to get what he can out of that one, lunging forward for a couple, maybe 3. That might be the last play of the quarter.
Now, Brad Davison has proven to be, long enough and strong enough to make those plays where he lunges at the line of scrimmage and ends up getting a 2 or 3 yard gain.
And that is going to bring us to the end of quarter number 3 here. It's a great ball game. Our score after 3 is Osseo 22, Maple Grove 15. We're back with the 4th here on 12 Sports.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry. I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And welcome back. Maple Grove driving here. 2nd down and 7. They trail by 7. So we begin quarter number 4. Handoff here to Collins, and he is wrapped up and driven back. Couple of Orioles there. First guy to make contact looked like Jack Kramer, and got some help as well. So really looked like no gainer for Collins. Done a pretty solid job on him. I mean, he's certainly had some very impressive runs, but hasn't been able to really break one up yet. 3rd and 7. Davison all kinds of time throwing in, incomplete, looking for Lee, and stepping up at just the right time. There was the defender Port, and 4th down coming up here for the Crimson. Well, very big play. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
we still got most of the quarter to go, but 4th down and 7 here for Maple Grove. You don't have your regular kicker, and it's windier than heck, so field goal is out the door here on this.
I think that's a good assessment.
Osseo is going to use a timeout here.
Is that Osseo's second or first?
I believe that's the second one they used, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, whether you're on offense or D, in this important of a play, if there's somebody that's not where they're supposed to be or not sure what's happening, you're much better off using this timeout.
You got to get the timeout. Yeah, I agree with Dave. You know, you don't want to say that there's only 1 or 2 plays that matter in the game, but you know when a big play is coming up that you want to have all 11 of your guys go in the right place at the right time.
Of course, it gets the uncomfortable thing is when your head coach is the offensive guy. What are you doing burning our timeouts when your ND is
right.
A little, you know, not out of the question that conversation happens a little bit.
Oh,
but
I'm sure. But a lot of times the head coach will say, you know, he'll give the defensive coordinator on the sideline, you know, he'll say, look, if you need a timeout in this situation, take it. I'm not going to, you know. And that's where communication of the staff is important.
Oh, an early snap. I don't think Davison was ready for it. He's in trouble now, and he throws it late to Lee, and it's incomplete. And either way, it would have been a turnover on downs, and Maple Grove was not on the same page on the snap count as the ball was snapped, and nobody was really ready to go. Davison, you see, does a good job at least to catch it, but then he's in all kinds of trouble, and George Foley getting to him, and he just had to do what he could to try and make a play there. And so a big play goes Osseo's way as they get to stop defensively, largely in part because of Maple Grove not being on the same page snap-wise.
Yeah, not good timing on the snap there. That's unfortunate because you snap the ball on 1 and the snap count is 2. It's like we said a little while ago, that happens, and you got 10 guys that are flat-footed.
Now, if you're Osseo here, you'd like to put together a little bit of a march. Krua taking the handoff there, and Doyle on the stop. I think it's important, though, for Osseo to not have the mentality of we're just protecting the lead here. You still got to be on the attack.
This is where you mentally like to say we'd like to have a seven-minute drive for a touchdown.
Second and 7 here for Osseo. And they get a little jump up front right in the middle of that Crimson defense, and I think it will be, yes, indeed.
That's an encroachment.
All against the defense.
Yep.
And that's a big one. You get about a 3-yard gainer on first down, and then you get that penalty. That certainly helps your cause.
Yeah, that's you'd much rather have a 2nd and 2 than a 2nd and 7. There's no doubt about that.
And they get an early start on the left side there, so, well, they give it right back.
Yeah, somebody flinching on the, there's a lot of effort to make nothing.
I think Maple Grove nose guard's probably gonna whisper thanks because he, kind of took his penalty away. They
there
both
you go.
One mistake each way, and we see right back to where we started now. 2nd down and 7. Maple Grove, I'm sure, crowding for the run here, and they're going to get exactly that.
This is where, like you said, this is where, like you said, Jay, this is where Osseo cannot get in a mode where they're saying, well, we're just gonna run the ball tackle to tackle and hope for the best. No, that you've got to run your offense, and you've got to take advantage of everything you can find against that defense. You know the defense is they're gonna be pinning their ears back and coming hard at you.
So here we go, 3rd down and 6 for the Orioles. Gaylord dropping to throw, and he will throw for Armstrong, complete over the middle, and a first down out to the 43. Burrington wraps him up, but boy, they show confidence going to the air, and Armstrong has had a great day as a receiver, and Gaylord's had a great day throwing.
Yeah, Demario Armstrong makes a nice move and gets himself open, and nice run after the catch. That's 2 or 3 really nice catches that Demario Armstrong has had today.
So to the 42-yard line, first down and 10 for the Orioles. You can see their pace slowing a little bit. They want to use some time. And here's Krua through a big gap. Collins jumping on his back, but Krua bursting forward and will pick up about 13.
Yeah, that's...
And you have to wonder that Maple Grove defense, you know, you're so pumped up for a third and somewhat long, and then they get it. The next play, a little bit of a carryover, I think, right there.
Yeah, I think so. And boy, they popped that one quick. That's the first time they've run Krua straight up on the inside. So they're giving just a little bit of a mix to their offensive running game to try to keep the Maple Grove defense a little flat.
Krua got through the first man, and he falls forward for about 3 more. Krua, we talked a little about it with Collins. Krua, not that easy to bring down, even though he's not very big either.
No, he's not a big guy at 5'7", 180 pounds. Not a big guy, but you know, it's the ability to keep your balance and to keep your feet driving. Isaac Collins has the same qualities, a little bit different style, but the same basic qualities. And he and Prince Krua have certainly lived up to their preseason billing so far today.
And I think what a lot of people have come to realize, whether it be NFL, whether it be high school, whether it be NCAA, there's Hughes on the left side, is that being a shorter back without as much body to hit isn't a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. The old Robert Newsom, got that name from the past, one of the original bowling ball shapes to play fullback.
Newhouse?
Robert Newhouse, yep.
Nice gainer there for Hughes, and we're going to have a timeout taken, I believe, here by Osseo. And they'll be out of them now. 3rd down and 3 coming up. They've managed to chew up a good chunk of this quarter. 7:22 to go here in the 4th. 22-15, Osseo protecting a lead. Time for them to regroup a little bit and see if they can come up with another big play on a 3rd down type situation here.
And this is tough because you've got 3rd and a moderate distance. We call this 3rd and medium at 3rd and 4. And this is where you think, well, a good running play will get us a first down. Do we want to throw? In the NFL, it's an automatic throwing situation. You've got to be 3rd and 2 to have it be a running situation. But in high school football, you can run this as a moderate situation, and you've got to decide whether I want to have a running play, a run action pass, or am I going to just drop back and throw the football?
Osseo next week goes to Andover on Friday the 28th. Maple Grove will have their home opener against the Hopkins Royals also on Friday night. So it goes Saturday, Friday, Thursday for most teams in those first 3 weeks, because I've still never quite understood why they feel right before Labor Day that they need to play Thursday nights. I mean, the whole we're going out of town thing is kind of out the window. I don't know. But
football players don't do that.
Yeah.
I spent an awful lot of years coaching football, never had a Labor Day, never had a Labor Day weekend off.
So here we go, 3rd down and 3. Gaylord out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff right, goes left. A flag is down, and so is Gaylord. So Maple Grove getting a big stop, and we'll see, I presume, an offensive penalty here based on where it was thrown.
Again, it was thrown late by the linesman on this side, so you're saying it's an illegal procedure. But he threw that way, way after the snap of the ball. Usually a procedure penalty is happening right before the snap of the ball.
Maple Grove, in a different spot on the field, would probably decline this, but here I don't know. Because Osseo may very well go for it for a 4th down from there. They got a nice stop. They are still going to decline it because they got a loss on the play.
Right. So it's going to be 4th and 4 now. And now you're in a tough situation. This is where you know, some guys would say, well, I think I would rather kick it here. I'd rather try to pin that guy down there and make him go 80 or 90 yards to try to score rather than the possibility of giving him a 60-yard field.
But Osseo is going to go for it. 4th down and 4. Gaylord stumbles but gets the handoff to Krua, and he's going to be short of the first down, not by much, but it looks like he'll be a half yard to a yard shy at the 35-yard line, so they'll turn it over on downs, although I still say not a bad idea at all there for Osseo to go for it.
Not a bad idea, but you can see that Krua oh boy, that's so right. Well, they did move this ball back to the 35, but yeah, that's a huge play, a huge pair of plays for Maple Grove defense.
First down from their 35, 6:55 to go. Handoff to Collins, a big gap. Collins, he just stumbled, or he had some more room to go. I think he might have tripped over one of his own guys, and he'll get about 9 on that play, but that one looked like one of those possible really breaking it type plays.
Yeah, he looked like you could just see from his body language that he looked like he was going to be going.
There you go, no huddle here, and Collins will pick up the first down. He's thrown down, but gains about 3, and you get the feeling right now that Maple Grove, instead of being afraid of this situation, guys like Collins and Davison want the ball in this situation.
Yes. Yeah, this is one where you say, okay, let's make this happen now. Got huge penetration from defensive end Matthew Jenkins that time, and couldn't quite make the play in the backfield, but he did force it back inside.
On the 47 now, first down. Collins out, Hanscom in. Davison looking to throwing it up, and it's going to be incomplete as it goes to the outside, looking for Ryan Bredensteiner there. And well covered on the play as well, as Quincy Williams was back there. And again, dealing with that kind of wind, that type of throw, I think was definitely impacted.
Yes, I think so, because that ball landed out of bounds, and I think he wanted, and the receiver made a nice move to get out and then back up between the sideline and the numbers, and the ball hit out of bounds. So it's definitely problematic throwing that direction for Maple Grove. Throwing towards the Osseo sideline is going to be problematic for them.
2nd down and 10 here for the Crimson, and handoff goes to Collins in a big hole up the middle. Collins ripping off about 10. We'll see if he'll have enough to just shy of the first down, give him 9. And so 3rd and a yard coming. They'll go right to the line of scrimmage. They know they have Osseo on their heels a little bit, and maybe a little tired too right now. So they're going to press the advantage. Here's Davison. He'll take it himself. Not really much of a fake there.
No.
They just kind of ran next to each other for a while, but that's all right. They get the first down out of it. And now we get a stoppage. Yeah, just to move the chains.
Yep.
So down to the 40-yard line here. It could be Maple Grove's last drive. They're going to try and make it pay off.
Yep.
They are down by 7, and now they are going to use a timeout.
Well, I think this is a good timeout for Matt Lombardi and his staff to get their kids back together. They've had a couple of nice plays here. They're setting the table, as it were, to get themselves down into scoring position.
Actually, I think
defense really needs to step up here too.
I think Osseo probably is rather happy to see this timeout taken though too. Their defense could use it right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a timeout to burn, they would, they're saying, yeah, thanks, we need this.
You always hope for a good game, and we were getting it here on this first afternoon, I should say, of the season, and between the Crimson and the Orioles. And it's been nice to see these last few years, because this has certainly been a fun rivalry all of the time, but for a lot of the time of the rivalry, either one or the other was quite a bit better.
Right.
Well, now these last couple of years, they're both
it's right
time.
Down to it. Yeah.
When Maple Grove was brand new, Osseo was taking it to them a little bit, and then for a long time, Maple Grove was quite a bit better. And so here we go. First down give is to Collins. Osseo seals it up much better that time. Foley and others in on the stop there for the Orioles. He'll get a couple on that carry. Maybe just one, actually, for Collins.
Not much of a gain.
Collins been the workhorse down the stretch here. A 21st rushing attempt of the game right there. And procedure there. Davison was backing out of there, and I think somebody else, there was again a little issue with snap count.
Yep, that might have been where it was on one and the center heard two.
So push him back 5, not the end of the world, but doesn't help your drive that much. 5:08 to go here in this fourth quarter. If, in fact, they score, it'll be very interesting to see if Maple Grove kicks or goes for 2.
Absolutely.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Obviously, they have to get in the end zone first.
You got to get the 6 before they get the other.
But you know you
you
are thinking about it already.
You've got to think about it.
Davison, deep drop, throwing a knuckler over the middle and incomplete. Actually, the receiver had to come back and make sure, Bredensteiner, that the defender couldn't get it. This one didn't come out of his hand very clean.
No, the ball ended up being kind of a knuckleball as it got down there.
Both receivers, or the receiver and the defender, both seemed like they slipped a little bit as they tried to, plant hard and
come
stop.
back. Yeah.
That's the one thing I've always talked about. I've made no secret. I love grass fields better than turf, all things considered. And there used to always be the feeling that, well, on turf you'll never slip. Well, not true.
Not true, no.
3rd and long now for Maple Grove. Here's a little throwback, but well defended by Osseo, and he'll only get about 3 as they went to Kai Carlson. Didn't really fool him there.
No. And now you got 4th and 10, 4th and 11. And again, now the clock comes into play. There's about 4.5 minutes to go in the game. And again, if fourth down turnover here, you give Osseo pretty good field position, but you don't want to give the ball up. So this is a tough call for Maple Grove.
4th and 11, Davison, great protection, looking, now he drops the ball. Davison trying to find it and he can't. And it looks like Osseo will come up with it either way. They're gonna have the football. As dashing in to get on it was Easterling as they keep battling for it. Either way, it was gonna be Osseo's football right there. Davison had it slip out of his hands. And then trying to recover it. They fought for it, but it was either way going to be Osseo's ball. But Easterling, I think, will get credit for a fumble recovery there.
So now the pressure on the Osseo offense is run your offense, gain some yardage every play. The other guy's got 2 timeouts left, so you can't just sit on the ball. You've got to get at least 2 first downs in order to be able to run the clock out.
And here's where it's that fine line again. You don't want to, take the playing away from the guys, but you'd also got to say no mistakes here.
Yeah.
I mean, penalties and turnovers would be the number one thing you have to avoid, but you don't want your guys playing scared out there either. Here's the handoff to Prince Krua, cutting it back. Krua breaks a tackle into the secondary and keeps on driving. Maple Grove, correctly so, trying to rip the ball away, but they don't get it. And he will get about 21 yards on that carry.
And that's his, 4th carry for 20+ yards today?
Yep.
So he's had a nice day, but he is so hard to bring down.
Huge play to start this drive. No matter what happens from here, that will change things because of where they're at on the field now.
Absolutely.
And also obviously gives them a chance to burn more clock when you get that first down right away like that too.
Now you got 4 more 40s to work with. That's the way we look at it.
Hand off to Kelly, sweeping to the left, gets through the first wave. Kelly down the sideline. And let's see where he goes down.
A long way.
All the way inside. No, are they going to mark him? Yes, he went out of bounds. We have a flag down, it looks like.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, there is a flag way back out
at the line of scrimmage.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that come out.
No, I didn't either.
So it'll come all the way back.
My goodness, that negates a huge, huge effort by the Osseo offense. A hold on the edge there.
Get a holding call. So all the way back out to the 43-yard line, and you know, kind of to add insult to injury there is that happened, you know, in the backfield. So
right.
They lose right out on the edge. Right, they're going to call Hughes
right
for
there.
hooking with the left arm, the receiver around the waist a little bit.
And that was right at the point of attack. So it's a, you know, it's an unfortunate thing. But it's still first down.
Yeah, you could say to an extent it wasn't that much, but it certainly possibly took away the ability to make the tackle for the defender.
Absolutely.
And there's a nice job cutting in by Ryan Shea to stop Krua in the backfield there.
Yes, again, this is where you get mad, you get angry because you gave the guy a chance. Now, Shea takes that chance, boom, he steps up and makes a nice play. Now you're second and very long. You want to run the clock down as far as you can, but now now that second first down really becomes important, and it's very hard to get.
Under 3 to play here, 2:45 to go. Maple Grove electing not to use a timeout yet. They probably would after this play. Throw out in the flat, complete to Hughes, and Hughes will go out of bounds, which is good news for Maple Grove, bad news for Osseo.
Yeah, that was a nice completion, a nice run. He got about 8-9 yards after he caught the ball at the line of scrimmage. Hughes has proved to be a pretty versatile guy today, carrying the ball out of the backfield, catching the ball, and so now we're at 3rd and 15.
That saves Maple Grove a timeout, though.
Yes, absolutely.
By going out of bounds. Although I understand, though, you've got to be able to use the whole field, and I can't say that it was a bad play to get what they did out of that one. Here's the handoff to Krua. Krua lowers the shoulder, but again hemmed in pretty well. They'll get 3, and now Maple Grove is going to use the timeout.
Yeah.
2:29 to go. They have still got, things a possibility, certainly. Boy, that penalty is just enormous.
Just huge. I mean, it negated a 20-plus yard run plus the 11 yards of the penalty. So, that in essence was a 30-plus yard penalty. That's the real tough part of that. But you're at 4th and very long. 2:29 to go. Maple Grove's got 1 timeout. They were smart to let that go to 3rd. Most coaches are going to call the timeout after 3rd down, not after 2nd down. And this is where sometimes you think, now this is where in his playbook is Darren Lamker going to come up with a play for this situation? He's going to come up with a punt, which is probably really the best thing he can do.
4th and 13 here. Oh, Gaylord has to go up to receive the snap and does get it away, trying to go toward that corner. See where they mark this out of bounds. And it will be about the 17, so that's not bad. That's a pretty good job, especially considering he had to jump to receive that snap.
Yep, and he did have pressure on the right side, so he had to pop that ball pretty good.
So Maple Grove gets the ball back. 1 timeout left, 2:20 to go, and they have got to drive it 83 yards.
83 yards, which is that's no simple task. And they have had a little bit of trouble throwing the football in this half.
Davison unofficially 5 out of 14 for the day. Although right now I think they're feeling good that at least they're going to have one more chance, because it looked like they might not after that Kelly run.
Right.
Davison rolling to his right, has time, throwing, and incomplete. Armstrong getting in to break that one up. Tight coverage on Lee. And got his hand in there. Boy, Armstrong's had a heck of a game today.
Yes, he has. He's really played well on both sides of the ball.
So a 2nd down and 10 now for the Crimson. I thought that was a good idea in terms of a play to get them started on the drive, but just well defended. Davison wants a screen to Collins. They get it to him, but he's wrapped up and dropped. Foley able to read that one well enough and get there and get him before he could really get started.
And that was a well-executed screen by Maple Grove. And I like calling screen on second down. And Foley just really did a good job of coming in behind the blocking lineman to make that play.
Davison rolling right here on 3rd and long. Throwing in to Mario Armstrong with the pick. Armstrong down the sideline, got a block. We have a flag flying on the block made against Davison, but it will be a turnover as Armstrong comes up with the pick. The return is going to be brought back some, I believe, because of an illegal block or a hold.
And that was one where the referee did not see the entire play. That guy I was watching that particular blocker on Davison, and he hooked up cleanly well before he got the penalty. And he had a clean hit, and he just pushed off at the end. And that's the official, not the referee, not seeing the entire play.
Oh, wait a minute.
Was there a call a rough? No.
Yeah, personal foul on that block. But anyway, Osseo will maintain possession at the 28. Only a minute 43 and only one timeout. Osseo, they take care of the ball now. They should be gold.
Yep, now you can do your victory thing.
Gaylord will turn and hand it off to Crua. Crimson going to try and rip that ball free. And Crua stacked up at the 25-yard line. Not entirely sure. Well, they're doing the math, I'm sure, down there as well. Now the timeout taken. I don't know that I'd even run a play of that, that caliber or that type anymore.
Well, you've got 40 seconds, so you got to figure out how to do that. And
I see a drop or two. Heck of a football game here to start the season, Bill. We talked about that before the game, that it's a big one and everything like that, but both teams still, whoever won and whoever lost, going to have the potential to have really good seasons still, and I expect that they both will.
Yes, absolutely. But the team that loses, they've got to regroup faster. They've got a tough game coming up next week. You've got to be able to do something.
Oh my, Gaylord colliding with Crua, and that could have been big trouble for Osseo. Instead, Crua just goes down with a short loss, which is not a bad scenario there for Osseo. You see as they just run right into each other there. Boy,
somebody went on the wrong side.
And a little hand fighting up front there. I think probably nicely done to not call anything there. They were just kind of playing through the whistle there. 3rd down and long, as we will tick under a minute to play here. Osseo trying to use up as much time as they can, but without getting a delay penalty. Crua falls down, and probably just as well that he did, as he was about to be drilled anyway by Ryan Shea. And so it will be 4th down. They're not quite going to be able to use up the entire clock here.
They're not going to quite get it.
The only thing is they'll give Maple Grove presumably the ball with virtually no time left.
Right, with no time and no.
I'm not so sure. I think I would just let this.
I would let it go,
and
then run one more, please, because the clock will start on the next play, and just run a quarterback sneak and tell the guy don't go down easy, and you'll end up giving the ball back with less than 10 seconds to go.
And there's the flag flying with 9.3 delay of game against Osseo. But if ever there was a penalty that you don't mind seeing, that would be it, because they know that they're using up every bit of available time there, not kind of guessing and taking it with 2 seconds left or whatever. Osseo pumped up.
You tell your offensive line, you guys got to come off as hard as you can. This is not a drop to the knee play. This is go hard all out because you've got to run it. You got to run 7, 8, 9 seconds off if you can.
If you're Gaylord, do you dare run backward a little bit here to use time? I mean,
I've seen it happen.
Now they're going to go handoff to Prince Krua. Wrapped up. Play continues and now stopped with 3.3. So Maple Grove will get one more play.
That's pretty much what they wanted to do, was run that as far down as they could.
So one last opportunity. We might see something crazy here, a little flea flicker, hook and ladder or something, anything to try and get all this yards. Osseo going to drop most of its defenders way back. Now with this wind especially, but even so, this is, you know, Davison obviously is not going to be able to throw the ball anywhere near the end zone. So at least you have that worry taken away if you're the defense.
Exactly.
You're going to have to be a catch and run to get all these yards. Here's Davison going to step up. Throws complete to Lee. The horn is sounding. The game will be over unless there's a penalty here. And he gets the pitch away at the last second. Ball loose, ball down, ball recovered. The win for Osseo. Orioles take it 22-15. And a heck of a football game here to get this season started as the arch rivals duke it out here on a warm and windy Saturday afternoon here at John Hanson Stadium at Carlton Field. And Bill, we got about everything we could ask for out of this one.
This had a lot of everything, and it came down to the last couple of plays. So, you know, you like to have a close game, you like to have a competitive game, and you like to have a clean game, particularly to open the season. I think we saw two very good teams, two well-coached teams, two mature coaching staffs handle the entire game very, very well. I think this says an awful lot about the quality of these two programs and where these two programs can go for the rest of the season. I don't think Maple Grove has anything to feel bad about other than the loss, and they know that they're good enough to make a statement in their division and in their section.
Fantastic game here, scoreless after one. Osseo scored twice in the second quarter, went up 15-8 at halftime, and then each team got a touchdown in quarter number 3, and that's where we end up at 22-15 after no scoring in the fourth. Orioles making some big plays at just the right time and coming up with the big W to get their season started in style here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good job, guys. Thank you, Coach.
And Osseo goes to the road next week as they will be traveling to Andover High School to take on the Huskies.
And Andover had a lead against Edina today, right? A little while ago.
We'll take a quick time out here and come back with more of our coverage as Osseo storms the field here, celebrating a 22-15 win.
Volunteering is more than just a word. It's a window to opportunities. Take Mark, for example. By taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television, Mark is helping bring entertainment and information to his community, along with building a foundation of skills that will take him one step closer to his dreams. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
Hey, you going out like that?
Yeah, why?
Well, what would the neighbors think?
I see you! Come look at Mr. Feather.
Look what I have.
Mr. Bird, remember? Bark, bark, bark. We're just playing. We're just praying on trying to get you out of here.
Even still.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
And welcome back to Osseo. The Orioles beat their arch rivals 22-15. And they will take the victory. Let's go down to Allie.
Okay, come on over here. Hey guys, I've got Demario Armstrong and Prince Crua over here. Prince, you know, I called you Crua the Kid earlier, but you played like a man out here today. When you're that guy out on the field who every single player on the defense is trying to get after, what's that feel like?
It feels amazing. I mean, I know that I'm a target on the opponent's side, and so my coach told me when I get in, I gotta go 100%, gotta play 110% actually, and that's what I did. I came in and did my part, but I gotta give a big thanks to my line, because without them, I wouldn't have got them yards I had.
First touchdown of the season here for you. Kind of walk us through what that meant for you in this big rivalry game to kick off the season.
Oh man, it felt good. I mean, during the drive, my coach was like, "Finish it, Prince, finish it." And I was like, "I got you." And then he gave the ball up to me, up the middle, and I ended up putting it through the touchdown.
There,
my line.
Definitely to that line. We'll bring in Demario over here. Demario, you had a huge reception to get a touchdown in the end zone in coverage. Walk us through that TD.
I mean, before the play, Coach had called a timeout, and he wanted to run the ball. I told him, just throw it up to you. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to make the play, get a touchdown. And he listened to me, and we made the play. And it was a big catch, you know, got the crowd into it, kind of shifted the momentum to our side and just got us going.
You played on both sides of the ball tonight and made a very, very crucial interception. Tell us about that play, too.
I mean, I was just doing what I was taught. Coach Boyd taught me real good, you know, just read the defense and let it come to you. I just let the game come to me, saw opportunity, and seized it.
What do you think it says about beating Maple Grove again, about your team and what you guys can do this season?
I don't know, God is good, and we're a force to be reckoned with this season. I know a lot of teams, they don't respect us, and we just come out and show them how we can play.
You go enjoy that victory with your team.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Back to you, Jay.
Thanks very much, Allie, and congratulations to Prince and Demario and all of their teammates. Thanks to the coaches from both these teams for their help this week preparing for this one. A great football game here at Osseo keeps their edge over the rivals from Maple Grove. The final score on this one is Osseo 22 and Maple Grove 15. So long from Osseo. Right under pressure, and Davison is wrapped up, and down he goes. Collins back in there. Isaac Collins is in for the touchdown. Here's the throw, all alone, and the two-point conversion is good as he finds Jared Martinson.